Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here with me again today. Haley, don't worry. Not everybody has to be interacting in the chat with me. Don't worry, I understand. And sorry, I've been late in the last couple of days, but as you guys know, I have to be able to refresh information in my brain about everything that is happening. Otherwise, I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about. And if you guys saw the title of this live, it's called Ice Ice Baby. And we're gonna go ahead and talk about some serious issues. Let me get logged in to the actual chat so that I can interact with you guys as well. Let me see. Give me a second. I'll go ahead and say hello to everybody. Give me 1 second. Uh, Team of one, guys. I wear many hats. I wear many hats doing my podcast. I don't know what the hell you will call this. We'll call it the Dennis Herrera Show. That's what I called it that because I really, it's just a podcast, I guess. But whatever. So good morning, Robert. Good to see you on here. So today I had a combination of coffee. So I got a coffee from. We're not going to mention the name. Forget that you saw. There's a plastic cup in here. So I ordered this coffee, which is it's okay, but then I also did my mixture of some white coffee and a little bit of white mocha because I like a little bit of flavor. Probably not the healthiest thing, but if you notice, there's a little bit different on my setup, right? Not the background. The background's still the same. Uh, I'm standing up the whole time that I'm doing live now. And so yesterday was my first time that I actually stood for 4 hours straight without sitting down in a long time, and my feet were freaking killing me. And then last night I did another 3 hours, I think it was, or whatever the hell that was, 3.5 hours. Same thing. I was laughing to my wife and I said, babe, what the hell? I said, my feet hurt just as bad as when I was working at the company. And I'm just like, it's work. All right. All right. So people that say that this is not work, this is work. My feet are killing me. But today I am wearing my casual. If you guys don't know what an ear is, if you guys have seen, you know what a wraparound is? Samoans wear these. So, you kind of just wrap around something around your waist and almost like a skirt. But don't be judging. Don't be judging. It's a cultural thing. You may have seen some of my videos in the past where I wear my Samoan necklaces. Um, the people always ask me, what the hell is that? Here, let me show you guys. Let me show you a couple of necklaces. Hold on. Give me a second. So I have this one right here. And these are like just like just the flower, the the Polynesian tropical flowers, uh, beautiful beads. I like them. And then of course my most favorite is this ones. Now these are not shells. These are actually what do you call these? It's not a shell, but this was a gift from one of my Samoan aunties. As you guys know, my wife is Samoan, so this is where I get all this stuff from. And uh, what the Dennis never disgraced with? Oh man, I don't know, guys. Good morning. First of all, good morning. Okay, let's start off with a good morning. That's how we want to start off the chat. Anyways, those are my two necklaces that I have. I used to have one that they give to the chiefs in the village. And remember, when I talk about socialism, that it works in villages, this is what I'm talking about because I see that it works. But if the leader is corrupt, yeah, it's not a good thing for the people. Now, craft. What kind of witchcraft is that? It's not witchcraft, man. All right, let's go ahead and start with saying, Robert, good morning. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate it. And then Haley, good morning. Mind speak, liberty for all. Let's go, baby. Good to see you in here, man. I know you were probably mad at me yesterday, but hey, I'm always going to speak my mind and I'm always going to speak the truth as I see it. I says it as I sees it. Jeffrey, good morning. Doing great. Thanks for asking. Hoopty, good morning to you, sir, as well. Brian A98 says Dennis has never disagreed with Trump. True fact. I don't know how many times. And listen, I am not going to prove myself to anybody, okay? If you don't believe me, you don't believe me. If you believe me, then you believe me. I have disagreed with Trump at least 3 times, and I'm not going to keep repeating on what. So if you missed it, you missed it. With that being said, Thunder Loco, guess what time it is? Huevos! Welcome in, Thunder. Good to see you in the morning. Trump shifts all over Samoans. I don't know what the hell that means. Let me tell you something, Mr. F. Trump. The first thing you do when you walk into somebody's house, the first thing that you do when you come into somebody's chat, into somebody's podcast, the first thing you do as an educated, civilized person is you say, hi, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the hell you are in the country. You try to pretend to be polite. That's what we do. We pretend to be polite, okay? Now, for all those of you who have been with me for a while, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here with me. I think Trinity is still sleeping. I was texting with her this morning. Let me let her know that we are live. She was knocked out last night. Oh, there you are. I was about to start talking some shit about you if you didn't come in. Trinity got knocked out last night and left us talking to ourselves. I love you, sis. Thanks for joining. I just texted you. I was like, hey, we're live. Anyways, Thunder, it's always good to have you, bro. You know what I like about Thunder, and I'm not, I don't brown nose. I like that I can talk shit to him. I like that I can talk shit to Thunder, and that he can bring it as well. But I don't feel an animosity if he ever contradicts me, and that's a good feeling. It's okay to disagree with me. I think Hoopty also, I think he said that he might have disagreed with me on some things, and there's nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, it's like, Hoopty is also supportive. He knows what I'm doing, and I think a lot of people are like that. The friends that I consider friends here on YouTube, right, on this podcast, is people that show me love and support, that show me that they can disagree with me, but yet they still show me love. I think that's very special. I think that is the world that I want to live in. And you can call that for what it is, or however you want to see it. But there's certain things that you have to understand. Okay, I know 898 gets all sensitive and emotionally hurt and broken. But you have to understand something. There is a lot of issues, okay, that we can talk about. But there is times, okay. This is my podcast. You have to understand that my mind and my brain, it's not going to be able to accommodate every single person that comes in here. So when I ask you to stay on topic on something and allow you to call in, I need you to stay on topic. If you're not going to stay on topic, don't call me. When I just have an open, just call me, ask me any question. That's when you can say something else. But if I'm talking about a specific subject, I want to be able to bring that home. Okay? I hope that you guys understand that. You guys have been with me for a long time, right? Even Tyrone that doesn't like me sometimes, I have seen some positive comments in there, and if people are upset about something, they have their reason, and I try to accommodate to that. But it's one of those things. I just want to be able to throw that out there. Hoopty says, not overly sensitive, fear mongering, passive aggressively violent liberal tactics allowed. Yeah, right. Let's see. Tyrone says, Dennis just got here. What's your thoughts on what happened yesterday in Minneapolis? We'll get there. I think it was the day before yesterday. But I know it feels very fresh for everybody. And then we also had another incident in Oregon, Washington. And I'm going to tell you that there is something that Minneapolis, Minnesota, uh, Oregon, Washington State, and others, there is something that they have in common. And what they have in common is, well, unfortunately, they're all Democrats, okay? But what they have in common is this. They criminalize our federal ICE agents, okay? They put people in danger. They don't care. They put people in danger and encourage them. You see, a lot of people, they don't go into looking about the Constitution. Some people do just to smear somebody, right? But they don't look into the Constitution as to, oh, that's what the Constitution says. Well, I wonder if this happens, what would happen if that happened? They don't critically think about it. They just think, whatever about the Constitution. They don't know about laws. They just know what they're told about laws. And that is not the same thing. And I got just a couple of things to show you, okay? But before we jump into the Minnesota thing, I really sincerely want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for, if you haven't, thank you for liking the video. Make sure you hit that like button. Hang around, and we'll talk more about it. But I want to bring up, oh man, this is nice. This is nice. I want to bring up these clips that I have for you guys, these videos, about Venezuela. It is very important. I know this was a topic that we've been talking about for a while now, but in Venezuela, people still don't get it. What's going on? Why did Trump do this? Why is this happening? And the one thing that I've noticed out of all of these things that happen, the one thing that I've noticed, everybody wants things to be done like yesterday. They want all the problems solved at one time in order for them to believe that Trump and the administration is doing the right thing. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And I'm going to say this, and I become even more Trump supporting by the day, because I have witnessed for many, many years, this country has been destroyed little by little by little, and people don't notice because they don't pay attention. Most Democrats' mentality, because of my experience with Democrats, most of their mentality is, it doesn't affect me. Oh, I don't get into politics. Oh, it's just another tax. It's not a big deal. That's it. They don't fight back against the things that they should fight back on. And instead, they fight against the wrong person. Thank you, Trinity. Can you send that to my email, and then I'll share it, okay? I don't know how long the video link is, but if you can send it to my email, I will open it up and I can share it with the people. Let me see. Maybe you did already. I didn't check. Elon Musk. To keep all Groks as downgraded. I don't care about that. Okay, no Rumble. Who cares? Rumble. I gave Rumble a chance, but doggone it, they got too many damn commercials. It's not as easy to now. I don't like it. Sorry, Rumble. You guys suck. All right, let's go ahead and start with this. And now I'm going to set it up for you so that you understand what I'm talking about here. So I said I support Trump with everything he's doing in Venezuela. Now, I also mentioned that when he talked about going after Maduro, if he didn't stop sending those boats with drugs, right? If he didn't stop sending those drug boats out, that he was going to go in and take care of him, take him out of there. Well, you guys already know the video, Maduro, come over here and get me, you coward. It reminds me of this Antifa protesters out there on the street calling soldiers and ICE agents and all these other people cowards and come and get me. They don't know they're going to get their ass kicked. Or they do know, but for some reason, they just don't get it. Good morning, Cutting Edge. Cutting Edge in the house. Samuel, I see you, brother. God bless you, and may God be protecting your nation as well, brother. Somebody that actually speaks English for real. In the chat. And people be making fun of my accent. I don't care, man. So anyway, going back. So Trump is, is doing all these things, and the Democrats jump in and say, oh, he's just trying to do a regime change. And then Trump goes in there and doesn't do the regime change. So now they're wrong. They were wrong about Trump, and they can't stand it. So what do? Oh, look at him. He left the same regime. Oh, the President Donald Trump is just blah, blah. It doesn't matter what he does, okay? He's always going to be hated by the left. They just hate it. You know why? Because the left, they're communists. They want the power. They don't care about you and me. I'll be honest. The Democrats don't care about you and me. It's a fact. They don't. Zero. They don't. They don't care about you. See, needing to use you is one thing, but caring about you, that's another. And we'll get into the whole Minnesota thing, but first, let me go ahead and share this clip. There was some things that people were saying that, oh, you know what, President Trump, he went in there and took out the president but left the vice president, which is just as corrupt, and he ignored Maria Machado, the Nobel Peace Prize, and oh my God, now the people are going to be so upset because, he didn't really liberate them. And I always say, guys, it takes time, man. Give it some time. I am, I'm a little questionable. I'm a little questionable of the president, but I have to trust him. I voted him in, so if he fails, and I will say this over and over, if he fails, I fail. But if he is success, guess what? I'll take some of that success, right? Quit buying coffee from no, it's not Starbucks, it's fine. It was McDonald's, not Starbucks. Quit being lazy. You rough, that's too many letters, bro. You might as well just spell it out, bro. Anyways, the key is you got to be patient, man. It takes time. And I'm going to say it again. Another small victory for mankind. Here we go. Without further ado. Hey, MJ, I see you. Mr. Johnson, good morning. Let's see. We need to repeating this guy. What? We need to keep repeating this guy channel. I don't know if that's a good thing. But thank you guys for being in here. Omar, little brother, welcome, my friend. Welcome. All right, let's take a listen to this little quick video here and see what this is all about. By the way, just so you know, I watched maybe 5 seconds of it. I don't have time to watch the whole thing, but I want to see what's up. Okay, let's take a listen. I don't even know if it's in Spanish or in English. Now, just so you know, one of the doubts that they were having, the Venezuelan people were having, was that Maria Machado was not put in replacement, okay? So we kept the regime, so to speak, but President Donald Trump has addressed something very important. And as I said, give him time, man. Let him figure things out. I'm sure he has a plan, but everything has a step, and you have to follow it one step at a time. So the people of Venezuela, or at least the left side of Venezuela, were talking about, oh, Venezuelans are turning on President Trump now because, well, the political prisoners, they are still in prison. And, well, here is the clip. Among those released was the former opposition candidate, Enrique Marquez.
Ya estamos aquí contigo, hermano, y yo aquí, hermano.
All of them being released, as well as opposition member Biagio Pugliese. Earlier, people gathered outside the prisons for news from their relatives.
Bueno, justamente nos enteramos fue cuando el doctor Jorge Rodríguez a nivel de cadena nacional se dirigió a la nación, bueno, manifestando que se iban a liberar todos los presos políticos a nivel nacional, y eso nos llenó de satisfacción, alegría para todos nuestros familiares que están detenidos, todos los que estamos acá afuera esperándolo. De verdad que fue una emoción y todavía la sentimos, que bueno, no paramos de llorar de tanta emoción y tanta alegría.
Estoy viendo ahorita noticias internacionales y sí, o sea, aparentemente...
Claro, exacto.
Humanos del ciudadano Juan Pablo Guanipa Villalobos, o al menos él se asumía, y los hechos así lo demuestran, como jefe de esta...
Demasiada emoción. O sea,
So they accused that guy of colluding with Trump to overthrow Maduro. So they arrested him, and well, now he's free. I feel so overwhelmed. I feel very emotional, but also uncertain.
Tengo mucha emoción, pero incertidumbre. O sea, no sé. Imagínate. Me dicen que es verdad, pero yo necesito ver la foto. Porque cuántas veces no me han dicho, mira, ¿qué sabes de tu papá? Me dicen esto. Y no es verdad.
En combate. Aquí nadie se entregó y aquí hubo combate por Venezuela. Esa es nuestra mayor satisfacción y esa es la respuesta.
It's good news.
Good night. Good night.
Watch out Greenland too.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So there you have it. There you have it. Now, I really want to listen to this because I haven't listened to this one right here. Let me see if they got anything good on here. But Venezuela, to me, is my hottest topic because for decades, these people have been suffering under dictatorship of Nicolas Maduro, starting with Hugo Chavez, but most recently here with Nicolas Maduro. And that's what I wanted to hear about. And then we'll go to talk about Minnesota, and we'll talk about Greenland. Some of you people out there, it's like we have to teach children in the elementary school what's happening. You guys don't understand what we need to do as a country. Like you don't know how the United States become the greatest nation in the world. You guys don't grasp that. That's why you don't appreciate what President Trump is doing. But don't worry, we'll get there. Let's see what they're reporting here on Machado.
Stay on with me, Aditya. Now, President Donald Trump has said that the United States had requested the Venezuelan government to release political prisoners. This comes as earlier in the day Venezuela announced it would free a significant number of detainees, describing the move as a gesture aimed at seeking peace, coming less...
There you go, and I just show you the clip, right, of some of those political opponents being released already.
Less than a week after a U.S. operation targeting President Nicolas Maduro, Trump praised the Venezuelan government for complying with the request, saying it had granted everything Washington had asked for. Among those released were opposition politicians and high-profile figures, including former presidential candidate Enrique Marquez and businessman and former lawmaker Diego Pelleri, who had been held at Caracas El Heliceo detention facility.
I want to point something else as well, because people say that I was lying about it. But I told you guys that Nicolas Maduro and the regime, they have killed their political opponents and they had imprisoned political opponents. People came on here and say I was lying about it. Well, here you go. Now they're released. They are proof that what we said earlier was true. Dennis Love, at some time in the next few days, can you play the video of the UFC champion Juliana Pena being asked about Venezuela and Trump and at a gas station? What is it? I don't even know about this. Juliana Pena, that sounds familiar. Let me see. Juliana Pena. What is this? Why does that name sound familiar? Pena's next one. Let's see. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, that's why. I've seen her fight. That's why. All right, let's see. Let me go ahead and grab that clip real quick. Let's play it because I want to hear it since you mentioned it, brother. Let's see.
And took the president. A lot of people are differing on this. UFC two-time champion is with
Pena two-time.
Pena two-time, the Venezuelan vixen. Mayor Johnson in Chicago came out and really denounced this, says it's terrible for the world, terrible for Venezuelans. You're a Venezuelan. Tell us about it.
I completely disagree. I think that the majority, maybe 90-95% of Venezuelans are super stoked about this. They're really excited and they're happy. They're no longer going to be an oppressed people, and Venezuela will finally be free.
Sounds like a lot of maybe people that are anti-Trump in the United States have a problem with it.
Just like liberal snowflakes that that get upset over everything for everything. And some people know that
Don't mess with her. She will mess you up.
A lot of people know that I'm in support of Trump and that I'm more conservative leaning, but some people will just find anything and any reason to be upset. And I gotta say, Trump's the man. That's my president, and he's here to make Venezuela great again.
And guys, everybody just kind of assumes I'm super conservative. I actually try to play both sides of the. I look at things with a broad mind. And when I first heard this, I was like, all right, people are going to be against this.
I got to keep her in mind just in case I come across her.
But every time I looked in the comments, every single thing I see coming up, even the vice president of Venezuela that was just appointed, it sounds like she's willing to work with them on this transition.
She doesn't have a choice. She doesn't have a choice, but Maria Machado definitely should be the one taking that presidency. Everybody knows that Maduro was the illegitimate president. Nobody recognized him as the real president. His election was stolen, and he got in there just by fraud.
So the one thing that I'm going to point out is that if Maduro was an illegitimate president, that means the vice president was also illegitimate, right? So I want you to keep this in mind because of what I told you, that the liberals, the leftist, communist, social, I don't even know what the hell to call these people anymore. The crazy people on the left, because they have said all these negative things about Trump, blah, blah, blah. I mentioned last night when somebody called in that why didn't President Donald Trump release the Epstein files? Well, first of all, you see how it happens. Everything President Donald Trump does, he's going to be criticized by the left. He's going to be blamed for anything that goes wrong. Okay, so President Donald Trump is expected to be 100% accurate, which nobody has ever expected anything from any other president. Nobody has expected 100% from any president, but Democrats expect 100% from President Donald Trump. I think it's very unfair, and quite frankly, F them. F them all. I don't care. I think Trump is doing a fantastic job. With that being said, even though the vice president, who is now the president, is also illegitimate, but as you saw the little clip before this one, I'm gonna let this one finish as well. But before the other clip, she was over there being cooperative with President Trump. Now, this is the people that were talking shit about Trump. This is the people that were talking bad about the United States of America. This is the same people that they, out of their own mouth, they said they were sending an invasion in here to the United States of America. And I find it interesting that none of you liberals and Democrats out there said anything about this ever. Till this day, you haven't said shit about it. But don't worry, here in the Dennis Herrera Show, you're going to hear it, whether you like it or not.
What do you think about people saying that Trump and America did this just for the oil?
Hey, better that they give it to us than give it over for free to China and all these other countries. Yeah. A piece of the ball game here. That's not the whole ball game. And the grand scheme of things is that Venezuela has been under oppression for many, many years. Personally, on my own personal side, I've had family that has gone through very serious, horrible, horrific things that you would never want to happen to anybody that you know. So I'm very happy for the people of Venezuela.
Much love. We met actually at Circa through our mutual friend Richard.
Oh, there you go. Hey, thanks for the recommendation there, my friend. Much love to you. I appreciate it. Yes. Give me a second. I have to message my wife. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and continue with the clip here because I think that this lady actually is actually giving some good information. Prisoner release political Prisoner releases political prisoners. There's some sort of Indian news network or something.
Tearful reunions were seen on Thursday night as detainees embraced their loved ones. Aditya, back to you on this.
Well, absolutely. Indeed, at this juncture, there is, a lot of
Nobody cares about your opinion, Teen Hype TV.
political instability within the U.S. also, and definitely, if we see, this U.S.-Venezuela standoff, definitely any significant development.
Strikes in Caracas over the weekend led to the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores.
That's all the information I can get out of these people. I can't sit here. I'm not going to lie. I can't sit here and listen to all that BS. All right. I did have a clip for later from the Crime Chef, but we're not going to show that one yet. I do want to show this. This is, I guess this has been going live. I paused it on here because I want you to listen to the protesters, okay? I want you to listen to the protesters and, God bless their heart. They are using their freedom of speech. You take a listen to this and you tell me if this freedom of speech is actually going to make a difference. Listen to the great education, the educational background that they possess. And, you be the judge.
Motherfucker! You ignorant! Go finish high school, you dumb bitch! Are you done with your job, bitch?
This guy right here is laughing. That lady just said, go finish high school, you dumb biatch. And as they sit here, cussing up a storm, not making sense of anything, these people, these agents, including the police, they're not doing anything. And standing there, they're actually on the sidewalk outside of this facility. And these people are over here kneeling, just cussing at them, telling them that they have no education. Now, you tell me, who doesn't have an education? The morons that are out here cussing up a storm, not even trying to make any conversation or asking any questions, etc. Just listen to what they say.
You! Show your face! Show your face, dummy!
Look at her.
Show your face!
Look. She can't even get up. Get your ass back down. Just stay your ass down. Talking all this shit. This is what I'm saying. All these people talking all this mess. Coward, shame. They think they're these big warriors, but at the end of the day, they can't even get on their freaking feet. They can't even stand up. That's how pathetic these people are. And for those of you on here not in here right now, but for those of you who come in here being violent towards me, threatening my life, and saying all these nasty things, I give you a chance to call over the phone, and you decide to just cuss me out and try to insult my mother and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm the loudmouth Honduran, right? I am a loudmouth Honduran. I admit, I talk loud. I don't need a microphone to speak in front of crowds, I tell you that right now. But I find it so interesting that these people, when they cannot have a conversation or a debate, they just can't take it. They can't take it. They can never agree to disagree. They can never have any real empathy. They can never have any humanity connection. For some reason, something is missing. There's a strand of cells missing in that brain of theirs, if they have any. I don't know what the point is. I have had people in here call, and at the end of the day, we actually say, well, that was a great call. This guy didn't agree with me, but it was a great call. With most of the libtards that come in here and just type a bunch of stuff in there, these little keyboard warriors that they call them, it's amazing that we have people like that in this country. And unfortunately, if they're American, their votes count. And what they mean by count, they count against us, the American people, because these people are just so ignorant. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Cutting Edge, thanks for the super chat, brother. In the Minnesota case, the woman is referred to in the New York Post as an anti-ICE warrior who was trained, by the way, and even I'm left wondering, trained by whom? Did I read that right? So with that being said, we can go ahead and, no, we don't want to put that one in there yet. I will say, what the hell happened to my, oh man, I had my clip, it's gone. All right, don't worry. I will find it. because it's very easy to find this news. All right, let's listen to more. Did you hear that guy? America hates you. We hate you. Who the hell? You are not America. We love ICE agents. And guess what? The majority of us voted for President Donald Trump. So that means that America loves ICE agents. You guys are the minority. Shut the hell up. Know your place. Sit down and bow down to your King Trump. We will continue to support our president. You bow down to the king. All right? Let's keep that in mind. By the way, President Trump is the man. This is for you libtards in the chat. I'll throw a couple of sombreros for you so you don't feel left out. There you go. That's for you libtards. Hammer, grab some of those hats, some of those sombreros. Oh, man. You hear these people in the background. They're just incoherent. They don't know what the hell they are doing there. What makes them think that what they're doing in here, this protesting thing, I'm going to tell you something. I don't get it. When you're not retarded, you can't understand what retarded people do. Listen to the background. Act like a grown-up, says the woman acting like a damn spoiled child.
Like an adult. Act like an adult and engage in a real...
She doesn't even know what the hell she's talking about. Act like an adult and engage in real conversation, but she doesn't know what the hell she's doing there.
Conversation.
Protesting is an American tradition. Let me tell you what you libtards do with protest. You do with protest the same thing that you have done with our freaking vocabulary. You have destroyed the meaning of a Nazi. You have destroyed the meaning of a racist. You have destroyed every single meaning of every word that was ever described to be a bad thing. You guys have destroyed the meaning of all those things. You've destroyed the meaning of protesting. You guys don't even know what the hell a protest is. You go and watch shows, black shows that are supposed to be for family oriented. I watched this one last show. I forget what the name is, but it was with Queen Latifah. And I guess she has this teenage daughter. And then her sister, Queen Latifah's sister, she's this all-black activist lady. And it doesn't matter. Anything happen, oh, you know, the black people, we have suffered for this long. And, well, the white man. Shut the hell up. Get over yourself, will you? Let go of that resentment. Forgive somebody, will you? You will never be able to forgive in yourself if you never learn to forgive others. Let it go. Shit. Are we supposed to sit here and condemn all black people for all the black criminals? For all the black ignorant fools that are out there making a fool of themselves and their whole communities? Are we supposed to blame all black people for that? No, we're not. We are one people today, so shut the hell up. Learn to move on. Next. You guys watch too much damn Hollywood. Too much Netflix, too much TV. Look at this woman. She's over here asking these people to be adults. While she's over there acting like an immature little child. These people are such idiots, such fools, that they put themselves in the middle of harm's way. Oh, there's one. They put themselves in danger, and then they wonder why shit happens to them. Okay, there's my other one. All right, I'm finding my clips. I will get there. I am trying to find my clips. Where's the other one? Okay, that's it. All right. These people have no idea what they're doing in there, okay? And my job is to be able to tell the truth about what I see and what is happening. What you guys see for some reason on the left side, you guys, I don't know what the hell you're looking at. Like, if protesters are blocking traffic, they're impeding me from going to work, I have nothing to do with the government. If you know how to protest, you will go protest at the government buildings. You are not going to disrupt somebody else's right to make a living. Your rights are not better than my rights. You understand? If you want to go ahead and open up your mouth to insult me, I have the right to tell you to shut the hell up. That is also a form of speech, isn't it? So your freedom of speech doesn't trump my freedom of speech. It goes both ways, but you fools think it only goes your way. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Look at this guy. He's tweaking. Look at this. That guy's doing some Michael Jackson moves in there. I don't know what that meant. How many times are you guys going to bring up January 6th? How many times are you going to bring up January 6th? Yeah? You hypocrites are over here calling this warrior, ICE warrior, a hero, got shot for trying to run over an agent, but you don't say shit about Ashley Abbott from the January 6th. You talk about the police in a good sense then, when it's convenient to your leftist mentality. But you don't say jack squat when this woman got shot in the head trying to jump over a window. A coward man shot her in the head. She wasn't doing nothing to him. She hasn't even made it inside the building and he shot her. The coward. That's a coward. That woman did not intimidate me at all. But if she would have been driving a car to me, yeah, that would have been different. Yeah, I would have shot her as well. Hey, but you know what? I'm not a sheriff. Why don't you let a real sheriff tell you how it goes?
Hello, everyone. Chef Grady Judd here. I've been asked by media outlets and several people to comment on the event that occurred in Minneapolis yesterday. Let me make one thing abundantly clear. You have to be accountable for your conduct. And that starts with the mayor. Did you hear his filthy talk? Did you hear his filthy, uninformed talk yesterday to the people not only of the city and the state, but across the nation? Shame on you. That's lack of professionalism. Now let's look at the event. The investigation's not complete. I am giving you context on the video clip that I saw. Law enforcement officers, federal law enforcement officers, ICE agents, were trying to take the occupant of the car out of the vehicle. During this encounter, the vehicle backed up and then drove directly at the ICE agent. That is a deadly weapon, a 2-ton deadly weapon. So what did the occupant expect? They should have expected to be shot when you commit a deadly assault on a law enforcement officer. So let's do this. Let's send out the message loud and clear. And it should start with the mayor, the police chief, the local sheriff, and the governor of Minnesota. Cooperate with law enforcement officers. Don't resist them. Don't violently resist them. If you do violently resist them, if you do felonious assaults with 2-ton weapons, expect to be shot.
Did they tear your side?
Yes, they did, all of them.
I saw one.
You saw what you saw. I saw what I saw. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen this clip, but Trinity sent me something here. Let me pull this up. Here is just a clip of something here. Let me see.
Roll the clip. Boom.
Boom. I don't even have to slow that down. I don't have to slow it down. I've seen a better clip than this, Trinity. This is crap.
Boom.
Boom. You don't see what I see? Boom. You don't see what I see?
Boom. Boom.
Boom. Again. You don't see what I see?
Did he get hit one more time? Boom. Boom. He got hit by the car. That's why she got shot. Roll the clip.
Did you not see what I see? Not the same video. Tyrone, there is multiple angles. It's not just one angle, fool. It's what we've been telling you. The first video doesn't show the front of the car. Don't you think that's a different video from another time? No, it's the same exact action. Stupid is, stupid does. You're right. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Well, win, W-I-N, not win in time. But I know what you mean. Yeah, okay, thank you, Anna. I appreciate the advice. I'm sure you're very experienced on it, but I'll let you to it, okay? That's not what I do. All right, so here we go. There you go. You want proof? There is proof. There was a better angle. There was a better video that I saw. Somehow the degrading of, zooming in kind of kills it, but nonetheless, I think it's good. That shows me a better angle of the situation, and that's what I judge on. And you people want to go out there and pretend that it's okay. Let me tell you what you guys are doing wrong. Let me tell you what you guys are doing wrong. First of all, you're putting the blame on just this incident of what happened here. Okay? This is all you can see because your mind, you're like a freaking horse with little shields on the side. You don't know what the hell is happening next to you. All you can see is ahead of you, like a horse. You got to be able to see around. You got to be able to break down. Hey, listen, I'm not going to make a judgment here. Let me take a look first. Brian 898 was pissed off at me because I didn't know about this. Oh, you're going to talk about the guy that got the ICE agent that shot this lady. Bro, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I say stay on subject. Okay, I put some time into it. I'll take a look, and I was like, okay, that looks bad. Okay, well, let me see what else is there. There's got to be something in here. And then I'm looking at it. The guy's got hit. It is what it is. But what I'm getting to is you guys are just so emotional. You guys are so hateful. You have no brains. There's so much stupidity in your brain that there's no room for any wisdom to come in. What is the real problem that we have right now? What is the real problem? And you know what? And I'm gonna go ahead and let you libtards in here. I'm gonna let one of you guys that are against me here. I want you to go ahead and tell me what is the real problem. I'll let you think about it. Use your critical thinking and tell me what is the real problem. Hey, you can insult me, that's fine, but give me some facts. Speak sense into me. I know you got none, but try. Critical thinking. Where does the problem start? Why keep saying come together while saying us versus you? Because you don't listen. You don't listen. You're too eager to reply to what you hear. But you don't listen. Do you know what listening means? If you don't know what listening means, let me give you an example. Let me leer you a little bit. I'm going to leer you some things. When you hear something, pop, pop, click, click, that's okay. Not a big deal. I hear it. Hey, that's a horn. Hey, that's a tap. That's a shoot. That's hearing something. Oh yeah, that's hearing something. Listening. Okay, why is that sound coming from here? What is the purpose of that sound? What's making it? Critical thinking. You're listening. You critically think when you listen. If you just hear to respond, you never lear. We're going to lear something today. We are all going to lear something. Everybody in here is going to lear something today. 898 is going to be the first one to leer. I think he's been leering too much. 898 has been leering too much. That's probably why he has no sense. But well, you know what? Why don't we bring in? Let's see if we can find a Democrat that that can actually give us some sense. So this protest here. Let me go ahead and play 1 minute of this. Let me see what, if anything smart happens. And why is it that this libtards is always a rainbow flag? Why is it always Antifa and the same retards? I don't understand. The Latinos from Gaza? What the fuck is he talking about?
That's all you are.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at the twins. They got no brains. Their parents are illegal. That's probably why they're there. I just don't understand. Like, these guys are just standing there. They're taking pictures and making video of what? There's nothing happening. The guys are just standing there. What is it? How much do you want? Do you just want attention? You guys have no purpose in life. No purpose. All right, I'm going to clip this page. I'm going to keep this page out because there's something else in this page that I want to see. All right, let's go ahead and bring in a Democrat that actually has sense.
Senator John Fetterman sits on the Homeland Security Committee, and he joins us now. Senator, thanks so much for joining Fox and Friends this morning. You were one of the few Democrats that praised the president's actions of capturing this narco-terrorist to stand trial today in his first preliminary hearing.
Nice, Mario.
Senator?
Yes.
Your thoughts about what we're seeing? I don't know if you're able to see a monitor.
What we're seeing, it's like, yeah, I mean, for me, I think I don't know why we can't just acknowledge that it's been a good thing what's happened. I mean, I've seen the speeches from whether it's Leader Schumer.
For the slow people, he's talking about Venezuela.
Or kinds of past tweets from President Biden. You know, we all wanted this man gone, and now he is gone. I think we should really appreciate exactly what happened here. And I think we did, just as I've salute our military, what they've done. That was really surgical and precise and very efficient. So why we can't celebrate these kinds of things. And I'm open to the good opportunities that a better future for Venezuela after this happened.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are 8 million displaced Venezuelans celebrating. Aren't the Democrats who are complaining about this? Aren't they watching those celebrations, seeing them dancing, hearing their stories about not being able to go home, not being able to be by their grandmother's side when she's dying in Venezuela because they can't enter that country?
I agree. I mean, look at the kinds of places that they understand the good thing that happened here. They're celebrating these kinds of a thing. And now we want to remember the kinds of chaos and the suffering that Maduro brought to Venezuela. Why we all can't just call that as a good development now and be open to better kinds of outcomes for that nation. You know, our nation was forced to absorb over 500,000 Venezuelans. So now that's the kinds of chaos, and I think it was appropriate and surgical. This wasn't a war. This wasn't boots on grounds and in that kind of a way. This was surgical and very efficient, and I want to celebrate our military.
The better question is this. Why do I, as a regular American citizen, know more about the Constitution that the people that you put in Congress. Why is that? Why is it that I know more about the Constitution and the power of the legislative branch with the executive and the judicial branch? Why is it that I know more about those branches than the people that are sitting in Congress and in the Senate? How is that possible? How is it possible that these morons don't know the difference between a war and an extraction? The president, the executive branch, does not have to have permission from Congress unless they are declaring war. They didn't say shit when Biden did it. They didn't say nothing when Obama did it. They didn't say nothing when Bush did it. So why now? You already know the answer, because it's Trump. Now shut the hell up and learn. You're going to lead or something.
Terry, and now they're also putting him on a trial. They didn't assassinate him. They didn't disappear him. Yep. He's actually on, our TV right now, and they're going to give him a trail right now.
Yeah.
Good point. Yes.
You know, Senator, I know you're not part of the gang of.
It's funny how a dictator, a tyrant, a power-hungry maniac actually brings a criminal all the way to the United States of America for some due process. That is unheard of. Something is wrong with President Trump. He should have killed them on the spot.
But we're expecting a briefing from the Secretary of State, the Secretary of War, as well as the Attorney General and the FBI. What does Congress need to hear from them? I feel like the administration has been quite transparent, but you guys are going to receive a classified brief in the Gang of Eight today.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody wanted to see about that video about that boat. And now we're not talking about that anymore. It's like, well, here, that happened. So, for me, I think Democrats, we all used to describe him as a dictator or a tyrant or a terrible person. And it wasn't less than a year ago, President Biden raised the bounty for $25 million less than a year ago. And now here we're in a better way to now. And that's why I think as a Democrat, just because it's a different party here, it's like I'm open to better opportunities for Venezuelan. And now I turn to a lot of the Venezuelans in our nation, and they're all celebrating these things. And we all recognize that kind of warm collectivism, socialism in Venezuela. No one really liked to live under that, and they had to flee that. And now here we have a way forward, and now there's a trial, a public trial, and now here. So that's the way it works.
So Senator Chris Murphy, your Democratic colleague, called the operation wildly illegal. America doesn't want this war. Nobody asked for this. And I think the most important conversation to have is Venezuela is not a security threat to the United States. They're not threatening to invade us. Do you want to take this on?
I respect my friend in Connecticut, but we have different views on this and perhaps other views as well. I just said this on my social media that, remind everybody that America is a force of good, order, and democracy, and we are promoting these kinds of values. We are the good guys. That's pretend that now we are acting in a way. Now, remember, we all Democrats years ago wanted to eliminate him, and why have a bounty of $25 million if we didn't want him gone? Why would you do these things if you weren't willing to actually do something other than harsh language?
Why? Huh.
Senator, what is the future of Venezuela? Because a lot of people, since this has all happened on Saturday, have been saying, what about the bad actors that are still there? There have been some additional indictments, more than just Maduro and his wife, including their son. But what about the bad actors that are still in the Maduro camp that are living in Venezuela? How do you clean up a country when there's still people who support him?
Yeah, again, for me, I'd like to also make a point. So many people were freaking out about the Iranian strikes, or last year. I absolutely called for those things, and I supported those kinds of things. The Middle East didn't just spot. Yeah, well, I mean, I like to remind, it wasn't that long ago that our military, the kinds of soldiers that were involved in this, weren't getting paid, and I happen to be the one Democrat that wants to say, hey, we have to reopen our government. We should never shut it down and pay our military. People just exactly like those things. And I'm not going to compare this to everything to Iraq. Iraq was, over 20 years ago, and that was, that's where we are now. People call that the Iranian strikes might be like Iraq, and that's just not true. And now maybe some of the so-called experts can just sit back and watch how things unfold at that. So for
hope
me,
for the best.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. And if you are putting in these $25 million and they're calling him that he has to go, and now these things now. Are you willing to do more than just harsh language on social media? Or are you really going to kind of just remember, let's remember, 8 million Venezuelan were displaced and mass chaos. And now they were shipping drugs to our nation as well, too. So for me, it's like, why as a Democrat, we can't just acknowledge that it was successful. And now it absolutely was a risk. And now that's why we're going to continue to monitor it. And I'm going to remain open to a better outcome for Venezuela and Venezuelans and the region.
Yeah, so Senator, to that point about the region, the president seems to be clear now. He wants to change the way we're doing business, not only in Latin America, but the Americas in general. That includes Cuba as well, and some of the other countries as well, and try to fight off the influence of China and Russia. What do you make of this new foreign policy now that the president is implementing?
I'm saying that, what I've seen, whether it's Iran now and Venezuela, it's like putting some of these actors accountable beyond just some rough language on social media. So that's where I'm at. And now how many experts call that the strike in Iran would spiral the region and create all kinds of mass chaos? That's just absolutely not true. That just didn't happen. And now perhaps Iran could even have a nuclear weapon now. So for me, if you're willing to stand up to people like this, now a lot of those members of BRICS are definitely paying attention and realizing that they can't continue to disable our global order without being held accountable in just things that happen here or whether in Iran.
Yeah, you're talking about India, you're talking about Brazil, you're talking about Venezuela, a lot of the South Africa, a lot of the outlaw nations. They want to be a counterweight to the G7 and our economic programs, and they were fancying themselves a threat. They're losing a major piece to that puzzle. Thanks so much, Senator.
Thanks, Senator.
I'm Steve Doocy.
That's awesome. I've gotten so much respect for that senator. It's like he said, he puts country first, party second, and that's the way it should be for every single American. It's funny because people think that I'm a Republican. Well, it is what it is. The rain is going to land what it's going to land. But the fact is that if you choose to be ignorant to the information that you're hearing, that's the way you think. So you should really try to rethink and try to not be emotional when you're trying to use your critical thinking. It's very important that the moment that you get too emotional, you're just not going to be as receptive to the actual truth. Like, for example, every leftist out there, they don't try to find out what is the problem in our country. They say they want this, they get it. Now they say, oh, Trump did it. No, we never said we wanted it. It's the same thing, guys. It's every day, the same thing. I just don't understand why you guys think that way. I've never been retarded, so I don't get it. All right. So, okay, let's go ahead and close that out with Venezuela. I gave you a little mix of this little protest and a little bit of little libtards being immature, calling all the people that they are immature. They're telling soldiers that are standing there in guard, doing their job, to become adults as they act like little children from elementary. And let's go ahead and touch up. All right, so Minnesota is that's a shithole. of a town now, apparently, of a city. You know, it's horrible. That's why they call it tiny soda. It's so weird that Americans are so content with their country being destroyed, raped and abused by everybody. It's like you have this wife that you don't care if any guy touches her. You don't care. There you have a wife, and you don't protect her. You don't take care of her. You don't look after her. That's how you are with the United States of America. This is your country. Well, if it is your country. If you're American and this is your country, you got to take care of it. You got to take care of it. So I think a lot of people that are on this chat and they come into conservative chats, they're not actually Americans. If they are, they're traitor Americans because they don't look after the well-being of the American people or the country. You're going to leer today. Everybody's leering. Time is on my side. Yes, he is. Time, I didn't see you, bro. I didn't see you. My bad. My bad. Salt water. All right. Now that time is getting my attention. Salt water. Welcome, brother. Let me see who I'm mixing out. One Texas Miner. Welcome. Let's see this guy, Bill Bobby. Bobby! Say it ain't so, Bob. Come on, man. Let's see, Bryant 898 trying to make some friends in here. Don't let him confuse you guys. He's not our friend. He's a bootlicker. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I'm sorry said. Hammerman, did you lear something today? Did you lear something today, or do you have to go to a leftist podcast so that you can lear something? Virgil, how are you, my friend? That's right. We already covered that, Virgil. Political prisoners have been released all over the nation in Venezuela. How fantastic is that, man? You know, while you leftists are over here bitching and complaining, while your Schumer's going out there and causing all these problems in Congress and the Senate and this and that, Trump is still working. Trump is still getting things done. You know what, Horror? I hope they come for me. I want to host them. I want to buy them a drink. I want to give him some of my McDonald's coffee. That coffee is only good because I mix it with my own, and it's like a little chemistry thing that I do, and that's how I get hyped up for the day. All right? All right, let's see. I want to touch up on... No, I don't want to play that yet. I have this clip that I want to play this video. Why don't we go here? Let's see. This is like a 7-minute video. See, let me see what these people are talking about over here.
Thank you, Katina. Right, so we are bringing to you just a taste of this teachers union press conference that's being held in Minneapolis right now. They closed school yesterday and today. They declared today a day of unity. The woman who just spoke, Ms. Taylor, she said that every Minnesotan is at risk of what happened to Rachel Good. Yeah. Seems like a little far-fetched.
Yeah, a couple other things going on. Day of Unity today, moment of silence coming up at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And last night, the NBA game, the Timberwolves last night, sold-out arena in Minneapolis. They had a moment of silence as well, followed by a couple of choice lines for ICE and other federal employees working in their state. Tricia McLaughlin's DHS Assistant Secretary, and thank you for coming on today. First, react to what the teachers are saying. They want all these schools to be in a safe zone, essentially.
That certainly did not seem very unifying, and it also didn't seem like those individuals speaking had the facts on the ground. Secretary Noem was just there in Minneapolis, as you both know, and what we saw as far as arrests go was they were arresting multiple child pedophiles. I've seen the reports of who they've picked up, scores and scores of child pedophiles. These educators should really be thanking ICE, and as far as going on the ground, our law enforcement does not go into schools unless there is a public safety threat within those schools. What we saw on Wednesday, which one of those educators was referring to, was there was an individual who was assaulting our law enforcement, and he started a chase that went about 5 miles. This subject of this chase started going over barriers. He was running red lights, and eventually he took the chase onto school grounds. Our law enforcement did not go into this school and made sure to defuse the situation so it was this subject, this individual, who put children at risk. It is our law enforcement and President Trump and Secretary Noem who are actually protecting these children on the ground in Minneapolis, when unfortunately we see Tim Walz and a lot of these politicians turning a blind eye to the victims of these crimes, to the children who have been exploited, who have been abused, and to also other victims of murder. We had picked up a known or suspected terrorist, multiple gang members, just in the last 5 weeks that we've been in Minneapolis.
Tricia, you mentioned Governor Walz, and he was talking last night about Minnesota being taken out of the investigation. Watch here.
It feels now that Minnesota has been taken out of the investigation. It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome. When Kristi Noem was judge, jury, and basically executioner yesterday, that's very, very difficult to think that they were going to be fair. With that being said, Minnesotans, we've risen to the occasion so far, but it's going to get challenging.
Tricia, has Minnesota been taken out?
Absolutely not. And he keeps on talking about how he feels instead of what the facts are on the ground. I'll let DOJ talk about the investigation itself, but his inflammatory rhetoric are certainly not helping public safety in Minnesota. And Dana, I also think it's important we talk about the facts that happened that day, especially when lethal force was used. This individual, the subject in question, the deceased, had been following our law enforcement throughout the day, stalking them. At the time of this incident, our law enforcement was outside of their vehicle trying to get their vehicle out of the snow when she started blocking our law enforcement, harassing them, impeding lawful operations on the ground. That's when our law enforcement approached the individual, told her to exit the car to stop impeding law enforcement. She would not obey these lawful commands. And that's when she put her foot on the gas. And unfortunately, our law enforcement, he followed his training, but he did fire defensive shots. We are glad he's safe. But with any loss of life, Dana, of course, we pray for the deceased and her family and our law enforcement, everyone involved.
Well, what appears to be happening, Tricia, is that both sides are lining up to defend their arguments. And we're seeing this from the teachers union there in Minnesota. Here is Congresswoman Jayapal of the state of Washington, just last night on another network, said this.
All right. You guys are following what's happening, right? What happened with, and I'm going to mention her back because people like to just bury this information and forget. Oh, Tyrone is back? Tyrone, I know you couldn't. I know you couldn't resist it. I know you missed the dimples, right? It's the dimples. It's the dimples, isn't it? All right, okay. I appreciate you coming back. I'm gonna make just one observation, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give you my example that I'm gonna give you. So hopefully you're understanding what's happening. One of the things that you have to know is Tampon Tim and every corrupted government official in Minnesota, it's trying to use this as a distraction, as they always say about Trump. They're trying to use this to distract you from the fraud that is happening. Now, I will add, maybe tomorrow morning, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys live. I'm going to replay the video of the hearing about the fraud, okay? And I want you to really pay attention. It's very punishing. It's like 3.5 to 5 hours, okay? But I want you to pay attention on how the Republicans, at least most of them, right, are trying to find out what's going on with this fraud. And what you will notice on that video is that every single Democrat rep in that house, in that hearing, they talk about something else. Not about the fraud, something else. Did you know that they did this to this person? Like, nothing to do with the fraud. And now I'm going to mention this. When Melissa Hortman went against Democrats in a vote that have to do with subsidies. This is where the whole fraud thing comes in. The whole COVID-19, the subsidy, all this stuff. They got the whole new dumbass Green New Deal. A lot of money. And nobody knows where that money went. It's crazy. It's like giving my wife money. She don't know what the hell she spent it on. Oh, man, if she watches this clip, she's going to hear that one. Hey, Brian, how are you? Good to see you in here, brother. But they got rid of Melissa Hortman because she voted against the Democrats. The guy conveniently gets found out, right, with the evidence and a list of things and all of these things to say the guy is crazy MAGA guy. But then we find out that actually Tampon Tim had hired him before, right? And then what's really crazy is, and it just plays in the back of my head, and I remember when Nancy Pelosi said, the smear tactic. First, you make up a lie about them, and then you leak the information to the news outlets. And then you create a press conference, and you talk about this smear tactic lie about your opponent. And when they deny it, then you bring in the articles from the leak information of the press to the press. And then that smear that is a lie about your opponent becomes the truth. And I find very interesting that right away, Tampon Tim came and made a press conference. And the first thing that he said in that conference, it's kind of like what they're doing right now in Minnesota. This is a bunch of liars. This is what they do. They're weasels. The first thing he said was, this was a political assassination. Why? Why would Republicans want to assassinate somebody that just voted on with them? He was right. I think it was a political assassination, but I think it was him. I think he made that guy do it. And I don't know if the guy's still alive. I don't remember. I don't know if he's committed suicide yet. But if that guy knows something, I think he should be investigated. And we'll see what comes up out of that. Now, with that being said, Tampon Tim and the mayor, all Ilhan Omar, every politician that is involved in this fraud are trying to make you believe that ICE is your enemy, that Trump is your enemy, because they do not want Trump to keep finding waste, fraud, and abuse. I don't understand how much proof people need to hear. But when Doge came in, and remember who was fighting them. There was no Republicans fighting them. Oh, wait a minute. Don't come over here and do an audit on us. It wasn't the Republicans, but the Democrats, every single one of them. You remember Maxine Waters? Oh, yeah, they didn't let me in the building. Remember Schumer? Remember Nancy? You remember how they went over there and blocked the building and said, no, you can't come in here, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? As soon as they were able to override them, they find out that there was fraud, waste, and abuse. And I even went and found an article from Somalia. The president of the Bank of Somalia. This is the whole economy of Somalia. $12 billion worth. I mean, is a TWS. It's easier to just say a third world shithole. I was trying to find some letters. I'm not good at abbreviating things. I got to say it like it is. All right. So as soon as USAID stopped giving them money, guess what? Their pirates got no money. Their government down the drain. The economy in Somalia is destroyed. Now you say, well, if that was true, how come they're still doing okay? Well, let's call it Minnesota. Let's call it Somali pirates here in the United States of America. And I want to tell you something. This guy, let me see. Do they have any more to say here? Okay, you know what? I'll tell you this before we get there, okay? Because I will hit on this. Let's go ahead and let the clip finish and see what else we can hear from this.
But the truth is that every single person in the United States of America, U.S. citizens, white, black, brown, whoever you are, you have to worry now that an ICE agent is going to come and shoot at you and kill you.
So I want you to react to that, and also the numbers that we're getting from your department, all right? This is from DHS. The number of assaults up 1,300%, vehicle attacks up 3,200%, and death threats up 8,000. Tricia.
Well, it's words like that, inflammatory rhetoric like that from that sitting congresswoman, which is why we are seeing a coordinated campaign of violence against our law enforcement. You just pointed to those statistics, as well as vehicle rammings are up 3,200%. We've seen 10 just in the last 48 hours alone. Incredibly dangerous for our law enforcement. But I do think we have to take a step back and say, why are we in Minneapolis? Why are we in these cities across the country? It's because sanctuary cities like Minneapolis will not let us in their jails. So they'll have murderers, they'll have known or suspected terrorists, child pedophiles, really vile, violent public safety threats, and they will just release them back onto the streets. In this year alone, Governor Walz and his team have released over 500 public safety threats who are criminal legal aliens back onto the streets of Minnesota. That is why we have to have law enforcement on the ground, to make sure that those crimes are not perpetuated, so that we arrest these individuals and that we make sure that the citizens of Minnesota are safe, because their law enforcement, their politicians refuse to do it.
Tricia, I woke to the news about an incident in Portland regarding the Border Patrol. Could you just speak to what happened there? We understand somebody was shot.
Yes, so this was a targeted traffic enforcement stop. The target of this traffic stop was a female, 32. She's a affiliate of Tren de Aragua. She is involved in a prostitution ring. As many of your viewers are probably familiar, Tren de Aragua is a gang out of Venezuela. They enriched themselves largely.
Whoa, wait a minute. That's not what Oregon said. They conveniently left that information out, didn't they? Oh, they don't fool us. They can't fool us.
Through drug trafficking, but also the trafficking of young women. The subject was involved in this. She was the passenger of the vehicle, as well as the driver of the vehicle. We believe he's a member of Tren de Aragua. Our law enforcement officers pulled them over as they were approaching the vehicle. When the subjects realized who our law enforcement were, they pulled forward, attempting to hit our law enforcement, and that's when our agent, he again followed his training and fired defensive shots at that vehicle, and the subjects drove 5 miles, and they proceeded to call 911. They're now in the hospital, but our agent, he practiced and followed his training as he should have, and we're glad he's safe today.
In the hospital.
Wait a minute, they're in the hospital. Go get them, baby. Go get them.
And presumably,
we're not we're not spreading hate or division. We are, but we just try not the hate, just the division part. We want to divide all the illegal immigrants to go back to their country, and we want to unite all American people to be here. Everybody else, get the hell out.
Under arrest as well at this point.
Absolutely.
Correct on that?
Absolutely.
Okay, more to.
All right, so they are under arrest. Okay, let me go back. This is what I get for talking too much shit.
But our agent, he practiced and followed his training as he should have, and we're glad he's safe today.
In the hospital and presumably under arrest as well at this point.
Absolutely.
Correct on that?
Bam! On the hospital, under arrest. Oh, yeah.
Okay, more to come on this,
I
unfortunately, and we'll see what city it happens.
Because you guys only hear one part of the news. It's not on this one. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and listen to this guy. Listen, they're gonna blame President Donald Trump for this. So let's go ahead and put this guy's on. All right, we'll wait for this guy. Okay, you guys already know what's coming there, but I wanna find the. I could have swore. Oh, you know what? I know where I'm gonna find it. I had this little quick press. Hey, thanks for subscribing, guys. Appreciate you. You guys keep pushing me forward. I appreciate that. All right. Let me see. Where is the Oregon? Oregon. Portland officials got blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. What the hell? That's not the one. This one. All right. Okay. Here we go. Now, this is Portland. Portland, Oregon. It's following the lead from Minnesota. But watch what happened. Hey, Jeremy, I can block you, but I just have so much more fun having you skirmish in my channel and be miserable and feel hated. You get what you want. That's not what I give. I'm going to go ahead and go back, and I want you to listen to this. Not the boring sheriff, but this moron right here. All right. I want you to pay attention. So you already have the Sheriff Brady, tell us that we shouldn't get in front of federal agents' vehicles, right? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to get shot. He's also the lawman who believes that you have the right to defend yourself in your home. Remember that? Don't come into our house because everybody has guns, and it's going to be a very bad night for you if you come and try to rob somebody. So he stands for the law, for the protection, allowing the Second Amendment to be used for the protection of the citizens. But he also knows that us as citizens need to also be responsible with our actions. And unfortunately, this action from this activist protester cost her life. Now, everybody on the left, you can go ahead and hate me and say blah, blah, blah. I don't care. The truth is the truth. Okay? It would have never happened if she wouldn't have never been there agitating ICE agents and obstructing justice. Which, by the way, from what I hear from the report, they were not even there deporting anybody. That somebody just got stuck in the snow or something, and they came to help. Okay, that's the story. I don't know all of it. But I do know what my eyes see. And that lady stepped on the gas, didn't go slow. Remember, it's a big difference. If you go slow and try to get away, well, eventually you'll get that, right? Slowly. No, she stepped on that. You can see how fast she actually accelerated by how the other cars got damaged when she hit them, okay? That's what you got to think about. And remember, you got a 2-ton vehicle to 150, 180 pounds, maybe 200-pound fella. What do you think is going to happen? That's a big difference. And think about that. But here we go. Let's go ahead and listen to these guys, which I want you to understand something. They came Minnesota, right, without, there was an investigation, the Brian 898. I'm going to mention this dumbass in here for a bit. He gets mad at me because I don't want to talk about this because I don't know anything about it. Everybody, breaking news, let's talk about this. No, you know what? I don't like to be the first guy to tell you anything. I like to be able to, let me double look on this. Let me take a look what's going on. And then once I have my information put together and I get my own opinion on it, then I come on and I share it with you. Okay? It's not murder, it's self-defense. Don't get it twisted. And you're going to continue to create more situations like this as long as you keep seeing it that way. Don't spam or you will be blocked. So, my point is, you heard it. You right now you're cheating because when I saw this, I didn't know Trans-Nicaragua was involved. But this is what they say without knowing the facts. Here we go. All right, Vaughn, your ignorant dumbass is going to timeout. Go to the corner and shut the hell up.
Wilson. Thank you, Chief. And I just want to also just reiterate what he had talked about the city standing tall and really standing together. And I've been before you already.
Oh, I forgot. I'm gonna have to put this into context. That lesbian mayor over there on the right, on the left side of him, okay? Her, right there, that lesbian mayor. and this moron that's about to talk, and everybody else in there. They have allowed law-abiding citizens to be hurt by Antifa and these dumbass leftist protesters. These are the people that are guilty for law-abiding citizens being hurt by Antifa and these crazy-ass protesters against ICE. I want to put that out there so that you know exactly what you're listening to, okay? Now, remember, Tren de Aragua, that's what ICE was going for. And, well, let's see what they say. Because I can guarantee you that Jeremy and all these other morons that are in here talking negative about it, this is how they get the news, but they don't use critical thinking about it. They just go with it. Check this out.
Too many times under these circumstances, but I'm grateful that every time I do make the call within such a short period of time that the Madam Governor will answer the call, and all of the individuals standing behind me and all of our elected officials and community leaders are standing with us as well, and we've always stood together.
Is anybody leering something? I hope somebody's leering something.
Together, and we will continue to stand together. Just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota, our community here in Portland was witness to a moment of fear, confusion, and heartbreak. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Violence in our community is devastating. These are not statistics. These are human beings. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents. When the administration talks about...
Oh, she's a governor? I thought she was a mayor. Maybe she is a governor. I thought it was a different person, but I thought she was a mayor.
About using full force, we are seeing what it means on our streets. The consequences are not abstract. They are felt in hospital rooms and living rooms, in the quiet moments when families try to make sense of what happened, what is happening. We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past. That is why we are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place. Our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability. And most of all, our community deserves peace. Earlier today, I spoke with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. We shared not just our concerns, but our grief for the families who are suffering and grief for the recklessness of our federal government.
The reckless of the federal government or the reckless of the people that they throw in the streets to go protest and do their dirty dealings?
Administration is trying to divide us, to pit communities against one another, to make us fear one another. Portland, this is a moment to hold each other close, to stay.
I'm going to tell you something. If God puts me to be governor in Washington State, I am not helping Portland. I am not helping them at all.
And together to remember that our strength has always come from community, compassion, and solidarity. Yesterday, Governor Walz made an appeal to all of us. Today, I want to say clearly that we stand with Minneapolis. We stand with Minnesota. We stand with Chicago. We stand with LA. We stand with every community that is hurting in our nation, every family that is afraid, every person who feels unseen or unheard. ICE agents and their Homeland Security leadership must fully be investigated and held responsible for the violence inflicted on the American people in Minnesota, in Portland, and in all the communities across America. The Federal Protective Service claims values such as service, integrity, honor, and vigilance. This is the moment to live those values, not behind masks, not through intimidation, but through transparency, accountability, and most of all, humanity. So thank you. I'd like to turn it over to the governor.
The governor, not the mayor. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chief Day. Good evening, Oregonians.
I had it backwards. The guy is the mayor.
We are standing here today united as a state wanting peace and safety in our communities. We are all shaken and outraged by another terrible, unnecessary, violent event instigated by the reckless agenda of the Trump administration.
Now, I want you to remember everything that they are saying. They're saying that is the Trump's administration. Remember that. But you already know the truth. The people that they're talking about that got shot, Tren de Aragua, gangbangers. Keep that in mind. Don't forget. Okay, let's continue listening to her.
This time in our own state, in our largest city, coming just one day after the tragedy in Minnesota. While the details of the incident remain limited, one thing is very clear. When a president endorses tearing families apart and attempts to govern through fear and hate rather than shared values, you foster an environment of lawlessness and recklessness. Trust is essential to maintaining community safety and the rule of law. Federal agents at the direction of the Department of Homeland Security are shattering trust. They are hurting people and they are destroying day by day what we hold dear. Our sense of safety and our literal safety are severely undermined by what happened this afternoon.
Bro, compa, son mareros de Venezuela los cabrones.
In Portland. I'm so thankful that no one died and more people weren't hurt. The Attorney General and other leaders have been clear about our concerns with the excessive use of force by federal agents in Portland. And today's incident only heightens the need for transparency and accountability. Oregonians deserve clear answers. And I am aligned with the mayor. The priority right now is a full, completed investigation, not more detentions. My message to the federal government is this: we demand transparency. We demand your cooperation with Portland Police and the Multnomah.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We deny? I must have, no. I heard that wrong. Hold on. I heard that wrong. Let me hear it.
That no one died and more people weren't hurt. The Attorney General and other leaders have been clear about our concerns with the excessive use of force by federal agents in Portland. And today's incident only heightens the need for transparency and accountability.
Yeah.
Oregonians deserve clear answers.
Yeah.
And I am aligned with the mayor.
Hold your horses. Our homeboy, once you see all of the videos, specifically the long body cam vids, it shows he was beside the front tire when he fired. Yes, that is true. He moved to the side and then shot three more shots, I think. The reason why she got hit in the head is because as she was moving, the car was moving. Well, the angle changed. All I know is this. That is the stupidest thing to do. Even if they don't have their weapons drawn, that is the stupidest thing to do, trying to ram an officer, a federal agent at that. And there is no excuse. I don't say she deserves to die, no. But she unfortunately created that mishap, okay? The ICE agent is fully justified. That doesn't mean that she should be dead, but he's fully justified. I hope you understand what that means. Now, I want you to really pay attention to what she said, because President Trump has been asking Seattle governor, Portland, Oregon governor, I need you to cooperate with us. We are being transparent. We need you to cooperate with us. Things will go a lot smoother if you cooperate with us. Give us the criminals, the ones that are in jail. Give us all of them. Every single illegal immigrant that you have in holding facilities, we need to deport them. They deny that. So ICE agents have to go now and route people everywhere in our cities instead of concentrating in one area. And once you get rid of all those criminals, crime goes down on your cities. And then we can concentrate on deporting other people in order. But it won't be as bad as it's happening right now. And the only reason why illegal immigrants act up against ICE agents is because they see morons on the street like these guys that tell the people that they can go on the street and obstruct justice. and obstruct ICE. They're looking at ICE as some piece of junk people like security guards that don't have any authority. No, they are federal agents. Have some respect for authority. Federal law overrides your local law to a certain extent, right? These people never give access to the police, the local police in Oregon. They actually tell the police to stand down. That's not a joke. America first. Shut the hell up, you communist pieces of fatful period, baby. Let's go, El Chingon. You got it, brother. Thanks for the super chat.
The priority right now is a full, completed investigation.
Listen.
Not more detentions. My message to the federal government is this. We demand transparency.
Yeah.
We demand your cooperation with Portland Police and the Multnomah County DA.
Okay.
Because we need to investigate this incident efficiently and effectively so we can rebuild trust with our nation's government.
Now, this is okay. We need to investigate. But they're saying we need to investigate, but you heard everything. You heard everything that they just said, right? It's not just me. They need to investigate. For what? They already said all these nasty things about Trump, the administration. They're there to divide. They're hateful. They're all these kind of bad things that they just said about it. And now she says we need to investigate? How does that make sense? Does anybody? Does that make sense to anybody? If you know they need to investigate thoroughly, don't you think that they would have waited before they made those nasty comments against the president and the administration and our ICE agents? They think that we're not paying attention. We watch all the videos. The police department is gone. Nowhere to be seen. Now they talk about transparency. We have been transparent. We have wanted to have their cooperation with the police. They have denied it every single step of the way. And now that these kind of things are coming out to light, they want to blame Trump right away. That makes sense. Sure.
There are those who want to cause chaos, but Oregonians know how to stand up and speak out peacefully. We must remain united in peaceful opposition to efforts to tear our community apart. We must not turn against each other. We must stand neighbor to neighbor. We must not take the bait. And I want to end by saying I'm grateful to the first responders who have been managing this incident today.
I want to say this. They keep saying take the bait. What the hell are they talking about? That's exactly what the Minnesotan says. That's exactly what the Seattle says. What the hell are they talking about, the bait? What bait? We're trying to deport illegal immigrants. Who's putting what bait? I don't understand that part. Somebody explain that to me in the chat.
Here in Portland, and we stand united with Americans across our country and with Minneapolis and Minnesota in light of these very troubling events. Thank you. I'd now like to hand over the podium to Senator Casey Jama, Democratic leader in the Oregon Senate.
Well, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. My name is Senator Casey Jama. I also serve as the Senate Majority Leader. I live Hazelwood neighborhood. The incident took place not that far where I live in my home. I'm raising my two children and live with my wife. I have a few messages, but let me start to say this one first. My prayer is to the families and those who are hurt, and I hope and angry and frustrated, as many Oregonians are. Let me speak to Oregonians. I share your frustration.
What the hell is an Oregonian? What the hell is an Oregonian? That's some sort of animal from D.C.?
An immigrant refugee community, let me talk directly to them. I share your fear. I share your challenges that we're all facing. And I know that the struggle is real. Let me say this to the Oregonians. Oregonians are welcoming. State of Oregon is welcoming state. We want to keep that way. We want to fight for that. We want to work hard for that. And we want to make sure that all Oregonians feel welcome. let me say to this to the federal agencies and the ICE. This is Oregon. We do not need you. You're not welcome. And you need to get the hell out of our community.
Oh, do these people not know what the freak the federal agents are? These people think they had to have jurisdiction. Get the hell out of our communities because you benefit from illegal immigration and fraud. Well done, well done. But we'll keep speaking.
Now I want to turn to the podium to Multnomah County Chair Jessica.
Look at this white dumbass in the background right here, the mayor. What a loser.
Beth Peterson.
Good evening, everyone. If we were living in anything close to normal times, we would not be here right now. We should not be here right now. We should not be here right now because federal agents should not be in Portland neighborhoods shooting people. We should not be.
Get the hell out of our country. I'm still thinking about him saying that. What are you talking about? Go back to Somalia, man. Go back to Somalia, bro.
Here right now because Renee Nicole Good should be alive and with her family in Minnesota right now.
Yes, if she didn't try to run over an ICE agent, she would be.
I want everyone to know that Multnomah County stands united in support of our immigrant and refugee neighbors and everyone opposing this injustice. I am proud to be joined tonight by Commissioner Moyer, Commissioner Edwards, and Commissioner Jones-Dixon. Enough is enough. The terror...
You guys are leering something, right? You leering something today? Okay.
...and violence ICE is causing in our neighborhoods must end now. At this moment, we don't know what precipitated the incident, the circumstances that led to the shooting, or the identities of people involved. The FBI will be leading the investigation, and they need to allow local law enforcement to participate, and they need to be transparent and accountable to local governments. We know that this news is incredibly alarming and upsetting. We know what happens today speaks to a fear that we have had since last fall when federal law enforcement and immigration agents first increased their presence in our community. Multnomah County will not stand by as federal governments attack our neighbors. Just this morning, our board unanimously voted to extend an emergency declaration in response to the ongoing harm of ICE activity, and we will keep showing up in every way that we can. During our vote, I shared that over the holidays, my office received a string of emails and calls from neighbors in the Brentwood-Darlington neighborhood who are asking for help to find 2 neighbors who were kidnapped by federal agents the day after Christmas. Both of these people are the primary breadwinners for their families, and their children attend the local elementary school. As a parent, my heart breaks for their families and the whole community that has been impacted by these cruel actions. Add to this the horrific murder of Renee Nicole Good in Minnesota, the dozens of lives that have been lost in ICE detention this year, and now a shooting here in Portland. And we can only conclude that this federal activity is a threat to our entire community and is a threat that is growing every day. In light of this, our community is calling on us to act, to deploy resources to support the families impacted by federal activity, and to do all that's in our power to ensure the safety of neighbors going forward. That's what the state of Oregon, Portland, and Multnomah County leaders have done and will continue to do as we respond to this crisis. That's what the people of Portland have done, representing the best of Portland to the whole nation as we continue to stand up for injustice. Thank you to all of you who have come out to protest the cruel and authoritarian actions of this administration while representing Portland's values. Keep showing up the way you have been. Keep raising your voices. Keep showing everyone who we are. Our neighbors and the literal crosshairs of this administration need your support now more than ever. Our solidarity is our strength.
If they weren't lying about the whole thing, I would be okay. Why don't we watch this? What is this? Somebody's what? The camera? What is this? I really agree with you, but leering is funny as freak. Uh-oh. Boom. I want you to watch this. I don't know who the other person in here was, but let's take a look. Just a little warning, because they will show that person getting hit.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking country. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the effing
Out of
car.
the car.
Look. Boom. 1, 2. You catch that?
Get out of the car.
Boom. Yeah, that's not the will, is it? That's a different perspective right there. She didn't even let her wife or whoever the other lady was, a veteran or something, she didn't even let her in the car. She just stepped on the gas and tried to leave her partner? What the hell does that mean? What is that about? Look at that. She didn't let her in the car. But you can hear.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Get out of the car, says the other guy back there.
Out of the car.
Out of the car.
Get out of the car.
Get out of the effing car. Get out of the car.
Get out of the car.
She backs up so that she can turn because there is not enough room for her to turn because of the ice curb. And then right here, she just hits him out of the way, and the guy lets her have it. 1, 2. Maybe 3. He even got mad because he got hit. He even cussed at her as she left. He thought he missed. That's what it was. See? Effing bitch. He hit her. She hit him. He didn't even know that he gave her a fatal shot. So we live in a different times, man, where, social media, YouTube, it's everywhere. Hoop Time says, now I understand why the media was telling us there were no body cams worn by the agents. Really? That looked like a body cam to me. That looked like a body cam, right? Yeah, absolutely. And there is another angle, the one that the clip that Trinity showed, okay? It actually shows him getting hit big time. Now, I know Officer Tatum had a live with it, and I think he actually got the clip. But that is crazy, right? And these people still think that we're crazy. They still think that we're making it up. Let me see if I can find the other angle. Let's see. Let me see what Dave says about this, because I think he put a clip out there. Let me see if he actually has a clip on it. No, he just has a conversation. We don't want that. Oh, they're leering something. They're leering. I don't see them talking too much shit now because they see the truth. That's crazy, guys. I'm not saying that I'm glad that it happened. Of course I'm not glad that it happened. But what I want you to understand, it's these people are the problem. Not the protesters, even though they are in some form guilty, but these are the problem.
In Minneapolis, when a tragedy strikes, there's one word that summarizes what is most important, and that word is integrity. This is not the time to bend the rules. This is a time to follow the law. This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them. making sure that we're pushing for transparency every step of the way. The fact that Pam Bondi's Department of Justice and this presidential administration has already come to a conclusion about those facts is deeply concerning. The facts that from the very beginning they're calling the victim a domestic terrorist, they're calling the actions of the agent involved as some form of defensive posture. We know that they've already determined much of the investigation, and even if they haven't, there is the appearance that there is some conclusion drawn from the very beginning. If not...
Isn't that interesting? He comes in to say all of that, but that's exactly what he did and his chief of police. They came to a conclusion without even looking at anything. They just heard something, and that is exactly what he did. 100%, that's exactly what he did. So why is he coming in now saying that? That's what they do. This is what you, on the left side, keep supporting. And then you wonder why things happen to be so bad on the streets. Come on, man. Have some common sense.
Hide from the facts. Why not embrace them? If it's not a problem to have additional people at the table that have a deep commitment to the process and transparency and have run these investigations before, then why not include them in the process? The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension at the state of Minnesota has consistently run these investigations before. They have done so without bias. They have done so with a great deal of expertise. This is not some radical way.
By the way, this is the same faker that was crying at George Floyd's funeral. Remember that? He took a knee and was hugging the casket. They're the same liar. The same liar that also almost threw up while he was in the middle of saying, oh, I love this food. Yeah, okay, sure. I don't believe shit from this guy.
Out their group. This is a group that is formed by experts who understand how to investigate. Many of them have been police officers themselves. So our ask is really simple here. Our ask is to embrace the truth. Our ask is to include the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in this process because we in Minneapolis want a fair investigation. Is it deeply concerning that this administration from the very get-go is drawing the conclusion that they may ultimately come to? Of course it is. And if you got nothing to hide from, then don't hide from it. Include local experts in the process. We got nothing to hide from here. All we want in Minneapolis is a place that is dangerous. Well, let me give you a statistic. 50% of the shootings that have happened thus far in Minneapolis this year have been ICE. In other words, we've only had 2 shootings. One of them has been ICE. We are a safe city. ICE is making it less so. We are a city of unity. But ICE is trying to divide us and tear us apart. For every one of the people that you see standing here behind me, they have more than 1,000 people behind them. They have people that are committed to their neighbors, committed to integrity, committed to justice, and committed to getting the truth. We will not back down from it. Among those that won't back down from it is the person who I'm about to introduce. His ward is right on the borderline of where this particular shooting happened, and that is Councilmember Jason Chavez. Would you please give him a warm round of applause?
Council member, it's illegal.
Good morning. My name is Jason Chavez, and I have the privilege of representing Ward 9 on the Minneapolis City Council, where ICE murdered Renee Good. I want to let you all know that our entire...
So, guys, I'm sorry I have to keep pausing it, right? But every time, and you can call me out on it, every time that we show evidence of something, they always say allegedly, right? Allegedly this happened. And we're watching the video and it happened. But they say Allegedly. Now, they don't have any facts besides what they want to say. The investigation is happening. Right now, nothing is called anything. But they come in here right away and say the ICE agent murder. Not allegedly. No, murder. Right? That's what he's saying. Why is that? Have you noticed that? That's how Democrats talk. They talk like the people that come in here says, "Oh, President Donald Trump is a pedophile." Allegedly. Oh, you guys are allegedly. How about you say that? Because until there is an actual conclusion of what it is, which, as a matter of fact, we're going to get there, right? We're going to get there. But I want you to know the difference on how they say things, how we hear it. And I think it's important for you guys to see this, because you come into my channel and there's all these, American patriots that support the United States of America, the laws, and the people. And you come in here and call us liars and this and that, and you say, "Oh, you're watching Fox News. That's why you're wrong." I give you the facts. I even show you that ICE agents in Oregon got into a shooting with some trendy Arawa, a female and a male, and then I show you the conference from the governor and the mayor of Oregon. And they say that ICE is out there shooting their constituents, their citizens, innocent people. They don't even know. They should be allegedly, they shot, at these people or whatever. Now they're in the hospital. And let me ask you something. If they were innocent, why are they arrested at the hospital? They're not going free. They're not free at the hospital. They're arrested at the hospital. In the meantime, the governor and the mayor are in there still saying that ICE has shot their citizens in Oregon. Oregon is not safe because of ICE. No, it's not safe because of them. They are not telling their citizens what the law says about obstructing federal agents. Hey, if you get in front of a federal agent car, move out the way. They warn them. They drive slow. Most of the time, they're stuck. They don't move at all because they don't try to run people over. I've seen police, I've seen sheriff driving and people getting in front of the car, and it's like, move, move. You will get run over. Move, move. This is police. They have the authority. Get the hell out the way. It's not hard. You can protest peacefully. Stop getting in the way. You're going to get hurt. So these governors and these mayors, they don't tell their citizens that they are going to put themselves in harm's way. Anything can happen. Don't go to a protest if you have a baby with you. You don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you think it's going to be peaceful. Don't bring minors. Don't bring children into there. And what do Democrats do? Teachers from school, they got children with signs. We love our immigrant neighbors. Kids don't know. But they're learning how to break the law. The kids don't know that illegal immigration is bad. And that is breaking the law. But here we are, teachers, teaching the children to say it's okay. The kids don't know, man. That in itself is child abuse. There should be a criminal charge on teachers and parents teaching the kids. Well, not on parents. That's the kids. That's the parents' kids. But on teachers. Don't tell my son that it's okay to talk back to the police. Because if I'm there and my son talks back to the police, he might lose a tooth. What? You don't disrespect the police. Oh, but he's not right. It doesn't matter. Shh. Shut your mouth. I'm sorry, Mr. Officer. What happened? I apologize about that. That's me as a parent. People don't believe me because they don't want to, but it's the truth. I was driving to Wild Waves on a summer years ago. I'm driving my white S10 pickup truck. And I'm taking my nephew, whom I love very much. And he put the seatbelt underneath his arm because he doesn't want to get the seatbelt up here. So I'm driving on the freeway, going southbound on I-5. State Patrol puts the sirens behind me, pulls me over, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm not even speeding. I was going like 63 miles an hour. The speed limit was 60. White dude, shaved head, blue eyes. And this is how he talked to me. You know why I pulled you over? No, sir. Why did you pull me over? You don't have your passenger doesn't have a seatbelt. I was like, oh no, he has a seatbelt. And then he sees my nephew moving his arm. Oh, he says, that's why. Okay, so I pulled you over because it looked like he didn't have a seatbelt on. The guy is strict. I am bigger than him, but nonetheless, he's strict, right? You got license and registration? I said, yes, sir. License and registration. All right, you mind stepping out of the vehicle for me? I was like, sure. I said, it's okay if he stays in the car. He said, no, that's what I want. I want him to stay in the car and you come with me. It's for your safety and my safety. Now turn around, and I'm going to put these handcuffs on you. And I said, what for? He says, I'm just going to detain you. You're not arrested, but I'm going to put you in the back of my car for your safety and my safety. I said, sure. All right. Then I sit in the car. Police officer gets in, and he starts typing in his little laptop like me doing over here, right? He's typing on this laptop, and I'm looking at what he's searching. It's all good. It's cool. I got insurance. My license is, is legit, citizen, whatever. And I'm moving in the back, and I say, oh, you know what? Whoa. My hands were hurting, but there is actually a spot back here. Like I'm always a comedian, guys. I'm always trying to make people laugh. And I say, and when I accommodate myself this way, all of a sudden the cuffs don't hurt. And he's the serious, mean-looking guy. He chuckles. He goes, you know what? You're the first guy to ever figure that out. Nobody listens. And he said, don't worry. It's almost done anyways. The guy's like, he's being serious. Like, he's not like really like, hey, Dave, listen, buddy. He's not buddy, but no, he's serious. He's very disciplined. And he says, I am sorry that I have to do this while I make this check. I say, sir, you don't need to apologize to me. You're doing your job, and I appreciate you. And so, he's like, he goes and runs my name, blah, blah, blah. He says, well, everything looks good. And then he comes out, lets me out of the back of the car, takes the handcuffs off, gives me my license back, and he says, I am so sorry for the inconvenience. Please make sure that your nephew doesn't put the seatbelt under the arm. It needs to be visible so that we know that you are buckled up. And I said, no problem, sir. I apologize, but I didn't even notice that he did that. And I gave him my hand. He shook my hand. And I was just like, I'm proud of this officer. And and many people from the left side, specifically, from the left side, they come and they tell me, bull crap, liar. You didn't do that. You didn't have that experience, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? At the end of the day, what I told the police officer is, sir, I thank you for what you do. I said, I know how dangerous it is to pull somebody over. You never know what's coming out of that car. He says, that is true. And you won't believe how often it actually happens. I said, you don't have to tell me. I've seen enough. And I said, so I thank you so much for your service, and thank you for doing what you do. And man, I got in my car. I feel like I'm a great citizen. I respected the law. And the people on the left that came into my chat when I was sharing this information, that's a violation of your rights. How? How is that a violation of my rights? He's asking me. He's not forcing me. He's asking. He's telling me. He's not asking, to be honest. He's telling me, right? But he's not forcing me. So what is my job? What is my duty as an American citizen or anybody, right, that is in this country? Respect the law, respect authority. If he steps out of line, we have a court system. Take his ass to court. They have a dash cam on the car. If he oversteps, there is mics in the car. Take them to court. That's where you do your fighting. You don't do your fighting on the street, because you have no authority over police officers, federal agents, which ICE is one of those federal agents. You got to know when you can say something and when to keep your mouth shut. You got the right to remain silent. You remember that? You got the right to freedom of speech is what you think. When they say you got the right to remain silent, you think, I'm gonna just keep screaming out everything that I believe about you and how horrible you are, and I'm gonna insult you and say blah, blah. You don't listen. You don't listen. You're so inconsiderate. They are your servants, and instead of treating them with dignity, with respect, you treat them like they're some low-class slaves. They are not your slaves. And doggone it, if you tell the police officer that they work for you and you are an asshole to them, that's exactly what you are. An asshole. That's it. If you really believe that they are your servants, you will be nice to them. You will be polite. You will comply. Why? Because they're your servants. They are there to make sure that even you behave. They are there to know that even I will behave. They're not literally your servants. They are peace officers. They enforce the laws. They're not there to let you get away with crime. They'll put your ass in jail if you're a criminal. But you guys don't understand that. Because you're lawless. You're irrespectful. You guys don't understand. See, you can say bad words and you can say, oh, that's fine. But there's got to be a time. There's a time for everything. I can laugh anytime. I can be laughing my head off right now, and I will switch that in a second. If something serious happens. And vice versa. You got to be able to flow, man. Robert says that mayor and governor have nothing to hide but a crap load of payoffs and Somali fraud. And my friend, that is coming. So I tell you what, I don't need to hear anything from this guy. He's probably illegal, as I said. So that's very useless news. That is crazy. We don't want to watch that live. Let me see. Let me see this Fox 5 report. Let's see what this is.
Whoa,
Second-degree murder charge in death of D.C. officer struck by a vehicle. Hey, don't make an excuse to ignore the truth.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeff Carroll, the Interim Chief of Police here at the Metropolitan Police Department. Today, I'm joined by members of MPD's executive staff. Before we get to today's announcement, all of us would like to take this opportunity to again express our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Officer Terry Bennett as they continue to grieve this tremendous loss. Late Wednesday night, Officer Bennett passed away from injuries sustained after being struck by a vehicle in the line of duty on Tuesday, December 23rd. Since the night of the crash, detectives from our Major Crash Investigations Unit have worked tirelessly on this case. A short time ago, MPD detectives, along with members of the Capital Area Regional Fugitive Task Force, arrested the driver responsible for striking Officer Bennett. 47-year-old Gerard Coates of Northwest D.C. was charged with second-degree murder while armed for the death of Officer Terry Bennett. I can provide some limited details on the investigation. At approximately 9:49 p.m. on Tuesday, December 23rd, Officer Bennett was dispatched to the report of a crash on eastbound I-695 between the South Capitol Street exit and the 6th Street Southeast exit. A vehicle had run out of gas and was struck by another vehicle, causing minor damage. After exchanging information, the second vehicle left the scene. Officer Bennett was on the scene setting up flares and staying with that vehicle that ran out of gas. He was outside of his cruiser as the suspect vehicle approached at a high rate of speed. The investigation determined that the suspect was driving erratically and attempting to change lanes through slow traffic when he struck Officer Bennett. The suspect's vehicle came to rest after hitting the rear of Officer Bennett's marked police car. The suspect remained on the scene and was located unconscious immediately outside of his vehicle. DC Fire and EMS responded and they administered naloxone. The suspect regained consciousness and was transported to a local hospital for treatment. He was released pending further investigation. Yesterday, in consultation with their partners at the United States Attorney's Office, our detectives completed a D.C. Superior Court arrest warrant charging Coates with second-degree murder while armed a vehicle. I want to thank the members of the Major Crash Investigations Unit for their professionalism throughout this investigation. These cases are extremely difficult, and they're even more difficult when the victim is a member of the police department. While we're grateful the suspect will now face accountability, we recognize there's nothing we can do to bring back Officer Bennett. Our thoughts remain with Officer Bennett's family. He's survived by his wife, a 3-year-old son, his parents, family, and friends. I ask that everyone continue to keep his loved ones and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department in their thoughts in the days ahead. With that, I'll take some questions. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Herrera with the Washington Post. Thank you, Chief. You mentioned that naloxone was administered at the scene. Have drugs been found in Coates' system, and could there be additional charges for driving under the influence?
There could be additional charges. The full toxicology report has not come back yet. Sir.
Chief, was he drunk? Like, was he administered a breathalyzer on the scene? And why would you administer this? For what particular reason? He clearly was ejected from his car, it seems.
Sure. So the information we don't have that he was actually ejected from the car. What we have, it appears initially, is he attempted to open the vehicle door, and then he kind of fell out of the car unconscious. What was the first part of your question?
Was a blood alcohol test administered on the scene?
So there was, obviously, when he went to the hospital, because he had injuries, he went to the hospital for treatment. They obtained samples from him there, which had to go for toxicology reports. They'll check for alcohol and any other sort of drugs that are in his system. The full report is still pending.
But you can usually tell pretty quickly, right, if someone's blowing or somehow, or is this only when it's done by blood that it takes a while?
So there's a couple different ways. Usually in situations with traffic crashes, especially one of this nature, blood or urine is what's used. So you'll go to the hospital, draw will be taken, and those will be submitted for tests. You're talking about as like kind of a normal person, a traffic stop, and they may do some standardized field sobriety test on the side of the road, or they may blow into it. After that, they would go blow into an intoximeter. That was not done in this case. He was at the hospital for treatment, so that's what necessitates the requirement of the toxicology reports to find out the exact things. So to the earlier question, there could be additional charges based on that.
Chief, could you explain the charge a little bit more? Second-degree murder while armed. You're talking armed the vehicle, right? Not a gun.
Exactly. The vehicle is the weapon.
And how tough has this been?
The vehicle is a weapon. Very interesting.
This is new in, your administration. How tough is the morale overall throughout the department for this tragic incident?
I mean, anytime that a member of the police department is critically injured, obviously there's a toll on the entire department, his co-workers.
Human rights are not legal rights.
The people that he works with, his family, but in this case it's even more so. Officer Bennett was in the hospital for a very long period of time, and his friends and family and co-workers were at the hospital checking on him, praying for him, thinking of him. So also had the ability to have an even more closer relationship with his family members. So it definitely has a huge impact. I think that if you look at the escort that occurred yesterday from the hospital, you can really see just the amount of people that came out. Some people I'm sure didn't even know Officer Bennett, but just for the sacrifice that he and his family have given to this city. Yes, sir.
I don't know if you were able to answer this, but commonly is naloxone used in cases of alcohol or just in cases of opioids when it comes to your training for your officers?
Yeah, so in general, naloxone is used for opioids. It's not used for alcohol.
Was that a determination made by the officers on the field or the first responders?
Yes, so on the scene, DC Fire actually administered the naloxone because he was found unconscious. Obviously, depending on what you see there, some of the other things that we do know is there was marijuana inside the car. Obviously, it's not illegal to possess small amounts of marijuana, but that could play a role into, had he recently smoked it. Those are things that we don't know. Those are things that toxicology will provide us. So as the investigation, continues, we'll find out more information on that.
Does he have a criminal record?
I do believe he has a criminal record. I don't have the specific details of that, though.
Chief, has he said anything? Has he cooperated in any way and made any statements acknowledging his behavior on the road?
So obviously the night that the crash happened, he was interviewed. He has been interviewed since then. The specific details of the conversation, obviously, I don't want to put out right now as the investigation does continue out there. But as he's presented, the arrest warrant will become public and get some more information about that as well.
Is he employed by the district?
He is. Yes, he is.
Parks and Rec, is that what we understand?
Yeah, DPR. That's correct.
And is he also physically disabled in some way? Did we hear? Do we know?
He does use handbrakes inside of his vehicle. He was in a wheelchair. I don't know what his specific condition is overall besides that.
Let's say just one more.
One more question.
So that would be either a paraplegic, potentially a quadriplegic? I know people who are quadriplegics and drive.
Yes, yes, he definitely, like I said, I don't know his specific medical condition. I do know he does use a wheelchair, and there were hand controls that were inside the vehicle.
All right, thank you, sir. But now we move to more prioritizing things like listening to our great POTUS. And let's see what he has to say on this. This is live right now. There is no sound. There we go.
I would say. And we're doing tremendous things. Our country is doing very well. You saw the numbers that got released today, yesterday. Deficits cut way, way, way back at levels that nobody's ever seen before, setting records. And the numbers coming into our country are unprecedented. And we're doing really well. We had a situation 3 days ago with Venezuela, and we're getting along extremely well with the people of Venezuela, both the people and the people that are running Venezuela. I just want to thank our military. What they've done is incredible. That was considered unprecedented, to go into a military fort with thousands of soldiers and others, and to come in with 152 planes going every which way, and very rapid speeds and helicopters, and to come out with no deaths and the loss of no equipment. It was pretty amazing. Nobody's seen anything like it. I was called by the leaders of numerous countries. I won't go into which ones, but the biggest and the strongest, and they said that was very impressive. They're all impressed. But today I'm delighted to welcome almost 24 of the biggest and most respected oil and gas executives in the world to the White House. It's an honor to be with them. We have many others that were not able to get in. I said if we had a ballroom, we'd have over 1,000 people. Everybody wanted. I never knew your industry was that big. I never knew you had that many people in your industry. But here we are. And if you, in fact, if you look, come to think of it, well, I got to look at this myself. Wow. What a view. This is the door to the ballroom. Well, what did you have? Unusual time to look, but I figure we might as well do. If the fake news would like to go back and take a look, you can, but you'll see a very big foundation that's moving. We're ahead of schedule in the ballroom and under budget. It's going to be, I don't think there'll be anything like it in the world, actually. I think it'll be the best. We went from, this is, as you know, our biggest room, which would seat 100 for dinner, maybe, if you're lucky, if you're nice and tight. And the ballroom will seat many, and it'll also take care of the inauguration with bulletproof glass, drone-proof ceilings, and everything else, unfortunately, that today you need. So we're going to discuss how these great American companies can help rapidly rebuild Venezuela's dilapidated oil industry and bring millions of barrels of oil production to benefit the United States, the people of Venezuela, and the entire world. And yesterday, the number is 30 million barrels I can't even, is that a correct number? 30 million barrels. You hear that, Peter? Of oil was given to us by Venezuela. That's a lot of oil. It's about $4 billion worth, and it's on its way to the United States right now. And we want to thank Venezuela for that. And we're working very well with them, obviously, or they wouldn't have been so generous. But they respect us again. They didn't respect us at all before. So that's money that goes to the United States. Some will go to Venezuela, and some will go to the oil companies, but not that, because that's already been extracted. So when you're not getting any of that, but when you start extracting, you'll get. But it's tremendous reserves, among the biggest in the world. Some people say it is the biggest in the world. And we're going to be working with Venezuela. We're going to be making the decision as to which oil companies are going to go in, that we're going to allow to go in. We're going to cut a deal with the companies. We'll probably do that today or very shortly thereafter with Chris and Doug. And we're dealing with the country, so we're empowered to make that deal. And you'll have total safety, total security. One of the reasons you couldn't go in is you had no guarantees, you had no security, but now you have total security. It's a whole different Venezuela, and Venezuela is going to be very successful. And the people of the United States are going to be big beneficiaries, because we're going to be extracting, numbers of, in terms of oil, like, few people have ever seen, actually. So you're dealing with us directly. You're not dealing with Venezuela at all. We don't want you to deal with Venezuela. Let me thank Vice President J.D. Vance, who's doing a fantastic job. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, likewise, a fantastic job. I have good people. I like them better than my first group. But we had a great,
agree.
That, we had a great first term. We had some great people there, too, by the way. But we had a great first term. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country in the first term, but this is blowing it away. And you haven't seen anything yet. Everyone's been shocked by the numbers, 5.4% GDP. And that's despite the fact that we were badly hurt by the Democrat shutdown, of which they'd like to see if they could shut it down again. Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, who's fantastic. Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, recommended by Doug as being the greatest oil man anywhere in the world, because I wanted Doug for that job, energy, and Doug said, no, sir, there's a man named Chris Wright. I said, who the hell is Chris Wright? He said he's the most talented oil man anywhere in the world. I doubt you can get him, because typically oil men make a lot of money, and women. They make a lot of money, but Chris came. You took one of the greatest salary cuts probably in history, Chris, right? But he's a fantastic person, loves our country, and many other important members of this team. And I want to thank them for their efforts. As you know, last week, the United States Armed Forces performed one of the most spectacular military operations in American history, apprehending the outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro for his crimes against the United States, crimes for which he has now been indicted and is in federal court awaiting trial. And he killed many people, millions of people, actually, and allowed jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums, drug dealers, drug addicts to pour into our country totally unchecked because of Sleepy Joe Biden's policy of open borders, the stupidest thing I've ever seen. We're getting them all out. The departure of Maduro makes it possible an incredible future for both nations, Venezuela and the United States, in which we will more closely integrate the economies of two major energy powers in the Western Hemisphere. Energy coming out of Venezuela was very small. One of the things the United States gets out of this will be even lower energy prices. We have people now getting gasoline for $1.99, $1.96, $1.95, $1.92 yesterday, somebody. And it used to be $3.50, $4, $5 a gallon. Think of that, $1.99. Decades ago, the United States built Venezuela's oil industry at tremendous expense with American skill, technology, know-how, and dollars. But those assets were stolen from us, and we had presidents who did nothing about it. this president is much different than your other presidents. They did nothing about it. They stole it. Some of the people in this room were a little bit younger when that happened, but not that much younger. It wasn't that long ago. But they stole our assets like we were babies, and the United States did absolutely nothing about it. So now we're doing everything about it. Now we're doing 500% about it, but it's a long time after the act took place. So they stole from us, and it was taken by socialists and communists at the time, and Venezuela was going bad, really bad. And as much oil as they have, they're producing almost nothing, which is just a system. So we're really, if you look at it, we're taking back what was taken from us. They took our oil industry. We built that entire oil industry. Started a long time ago, but they took it, and they were very ungracious to this country, but now they're being very nice. American companies will have the opportunity to rebuild Venezuela's rotting energy infrastructure and eventually increase oil production to levels never, ever seen before. When you add Venezuela and the United States together, we have 55% of the oil in the world. The United States is number one. We have them drilling. Drill, baby, drill was my campaign, and Doug and Chris, I think we're setting records on drilling right now and taking oil without Venezuela. That's how we're getting the oil prices down. The plan is for them to spend, meaning our giant oil companies will be spending at least $100 billion of their money, not the government's money. They don't need government money. But they need government protection and need government security that when they spend all this money, it's going to be there so they get their money back and make a very nice return. The plan is for them to spend at least $100 billion to rebuild the capacity and the infrastructure necessary. Venezuela has also agreed that the United States will immediately begin refining and selling up to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan crude oil, which will continue indefinitely. We're all set to do it. We have the refining capacity. It was actually based very much on the Venezuelan oil, which is a heavy oil, very good oil, great oil. It's fantastic for certain things like asphalt roads, best there is in the world for asphalt roads and other things. All of the companies here today are going to be treasured partners in bringing the nation of Venezuela back to life, restoring its economy, and generating great wealth for their companies and for their people, and also great wealth for the American people, and tremendous wealth for the companies that are going in. The companies that are going in, and if you don't want to go in, just let me know, because I got 25 people that aren't here today that are willing to take your place. So I just want to thank, these are people that I either know or I know of by reading lots of business magazines and journals and papers. These are the greatest oil people anywhere in the world. Harold Hamm, I see, is here. Harold, you know, there's a story about Harold Hamm that he can look at a piece of land, put a straw into the land, and oil pours out. Is that true about you? Whereas some of you guys have to invest hundreds of millions of dollars to find that oil, so we can't let that story be true. But they say Harold puts a straw into the land, and oil comes gushing out. So you're not a big R&D person, are you, huh? He's called instinct for oil. Now, he's got other problems, but we won't talk about those problems. But he's been a great supporter of mine for a long time, haven't you, Harold? So congratulations. But we have, and I think Harold would agree, we have the greatest oil men and women anywhere in the world sitting in this room right now. And we have a lot of people that will be back to see us sometime next week. We're going to have another meeting for another group. But we're going to do this very quickly. We can have this done almost immediately. So I'd like to thank you all for being here. I'd like to invite Vice President Vance to say a few words, followed by Secretaries Rubio, Burgum, and Wright. And then we'll have a few words from representatives that are here and to discuss their ideas, a couple of them. We have Chevron, which has been, where's Chevron? Where are you?
Far right.
No, I thought you'd have a better location. You were the only one that was there for all that. I used to call you and say, what the hell is going on with Venezuela? He stuck it out. I don't know if you made money or not, but you stuck it out. I got to give you a lot of credit for that. Mark Nelson, thank you very much. Exxon CEO Darren Woods. Darren, thank you very much. How's Exxon doing? Okay. They'll do a lot better now, won't they, huh? Exxon's been amazing. It's been an amazing company. And ConocoPhillips CEO Ryan Lance, thank you very much. So you guys could say something, and then we'll take some questions from the press. And if anybody else would like to speak, we'll have you speak. We have all the time in the world. This is a big subject. This is massive wealth, and more importantly than massive wealth, it leads to lower taxes and a lot of jobs for Americans and for Venezuelans, but for Americans in this case. And I just, again, appreciate you all being here. And I'd like to ask JD to say a few words, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thanks to everybody for being here. You know, as a Marine Corps veteran for my entire lifetime, presidents, and let's be honest, they were Democrats and Republicans, would send the American military to far-off places. They would get us involved in these endless quagmires. They would lose hundreds or thousands of American lives, and the American people would get nothing out of these misadventures. And now you have an American president who's empowered the American military to stop the flow of drugs into our country and to ensure that we, as opposed to our adversaries, control one of the great energy reserves that exist anywhere in the entire world. And he did it without losing a single American life in the process. It was an amazing operation. It's going to make our country richer. It's going to make our country more powerful. It's going to make our country safer. And it's going to lead to the decline, the further decline of drug overdose deaths in the United States of America. An amazing thing, and I'm happy to be here to talk about how we can make it an even bigger and better operation for the American people. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Marco?
Thank you, Mr. President. And I think this is a reminder that everything this president does, everything President Trump does, is with the American people in mind. It was not in the national interest or national security of the United States and of our people to have in our own hemisphere a country, not just with vast energy reserves, but controlled by an indicted narco trafficker who flooded our country with illegal immigration, including drug gang members, openly cooperated with drug gangs, and by the way, stole the wealth of that country to fund a repressive regime and also benefit adversaries such as Iran. All of that is now changing. As part of this process, the first phase, of course, is the phase we're in now, which is the stabilization phase. We do not want to see destabilization in the country. We're working very cooperatively with the interim authorities there to provide a market for the sale of the wealth of Venezuela in such a way that benefits the people, both of the United States, but also the people of Venezuela. And as a reminder to everyone, the president announced this just 2 days ago. Every penny, everything they buy with the money that they're making from the oil now, Mr. President, will be bought from America. And that includes everything from equipment for the oil industry to food to medicine and everything in between. The second will be a phase of recovery, and then some of these phases will overlap, and that is to have a normal economy again where the money goes to the benefit of people, not the benefit of our adversaries or the benefit of elements in that country and around the world that are against our interests, at the same time as a process of reconciliation has to happen internally among the different sectors of society and politics and the like. And finally, the third phase, which is the most important of the three, is when the country fully transitions into a normal country that we have strong economic and diplomatic and relations with, that is friendly towards the United States, that's not a foothold for our adversaries, that serves our interests, but also the interests of the people. It'll be a country that is wealthy, a country that is prosperous for the people, not for a handful of criminals, but also a country that is supportive of our interests in the region and throughout the world. And we thank you, Mr. President, and the team you've assembled that have brought us to this point. A lot of work remains, important work, but this is historic.
Okay. Thank you very much. Doug?
Well, Mr. President, I want to thank you for your leadership, not just as president, but as commander-in-chief. The boldness, the execution, the breathtakingly precise work that you've delivered both in Iran back in June and here has changed the field for the whole world. And you always ran about the idea of peace and prosperity. And in Venezuela, as you know, this was a playground for every bad actor in the world. We had Russians, Iran, terror groups all of them profiting from this criminal organization that was pretending to run the country. That makes America safer. You've secured the border, we're stopping the flow of drugs, and now with the normalization of relationships on an economic basis, it's going to mean tremendously for the prosperity of the American people. So I just want to say again, congratulations to you and to the entire leadership team. It's been an amazing, historic week on the scale of things that we haven't seen perhaps for 125 years in terms of the U.S. Exerting its influence over Latin America in a way that's going to make a change for generations. And on behalf of all the oil executives that are here today, Chris and I want to say thank you to all of you. It's your technology, your innovation that has put America in the place where today we are the most energy dominant country in the world. And that position is what's allowed us to take the action that we're taking with statecraft, with military action. None of that would happen if we were dependent on everybody else for energy. So you're a big part of the reason that we're able to move the way we are today, and we're grateful that you're here to be part of the solution going forward.
Thank you, Doug, and you are doing a fantastic job, and we appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. They know who's doing well. Chris Wright?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, what we've seen in the last week is leadership matters and credibility matters. Venezuelan oil has been sanctioned for many years, and the oil just flew, those sanctions were not enforced. That oil just floated out to trafficked by bad actors of the world. The resources weren't gone to a central place. The corruption and decline of Venezuela has been a crisis for the people of Venezuela, and as Secretary Rubio said, massive spillover effects in the United States, in crime, in drugs, in kidnappings, and in taking a huge resource base and making it not exploited, not developed. The whole world is a poorer, less opportunity-rich place because of that. When you have materials underground, they've been underground for 1 million years. That does not make them a resource. That does not make them valuable for your country, your people, or the world. They only become a resource with technology, with capital, with rule of law, and a system of governance that encourages the harvesting of those resources to make the better world. And we see here the dramatic contrast between the United States, which may have less oil underground than Venezuela. We have 20 times the production of Venezuela, 20 times the impact of human betterment, massively better quality of living here in the United States. That was at risk under the last administration. We've seen a lot of attacks on the energy that makes the world go round. President Trump's election has removed those risks, has embraced reality about how the world is energized, and we are at record production of oil in the United States, record production in natural gas in the United States. We've seen a meaningful decline in gasoline prices, diesel prices, travel prices because of jet fuel. And now President Trump is taking the genius of a different way to try to solve a 25-year festering problem in Venezuela, that all the traditional things have not worked. But ordering both a tremendous military operation to remove the heads of a criminal organization masquerading as a government, and then to use the power of our military, not to fire bullets, but to stop the flow of Venezuelan oil to the world, immediately gave us leverage over the interim authorities in Venezuela and has allowed us to be in this position today where the actions of this government can massively improve Venezuela for the better, and the bigger impact is to massively improve the quality of life, affordability, safety, and security of the United States. Very proud to be here. And we'll turn it over to Mark Nelson, who's the vice chairman of Chevron. Chevron has been in Venezuela for over 100 years, continuously. Mike Wirth, the CEO, had a knee replacement recently. He's not here. Mark is a tremendous leader in our industry, and I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, Secretary Wright. Again, I'll send Mike Wirth's regrets. He really wanted to be here, Mr. President.
Right. Great guy.
On his behalf, I have 3 very quick thank yous and an assurance I'd like to provide you all. The first thank you, Mr. President, is to you. It's thank you for convening this gathering. It's thank you for your leadership, and thank you for continuing to keep American energy domination in the forefront. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
The second thank you actually is to the cabinet. So Secretary Rubio, Secretary Burgum, Secretary Wright, your ability and commitment to continue to engage with the parties around the table to keep the world working is greatly appreciated. So thank you for that. And the final thank you actually would go to our Venezuelan employees of Chevron. They have been working tirelessly to operate safely, protect the environment in country, and their dedication and skill will help us in this next chapter. And finally, I'll close with the assurance. For more than a century, Chevron has been a part of Venezuela's past. We are certainly committed to its present, and we very much look forward as a proud American company to help it build a better future. And so, Mr. President, thank you for your leadership.
And you really suffered there. You stuck it out. A lot of people left. A lot of big companies left. Many of the people sitting at this table left because of the safety risk and other risks. But you stuck it out. I give you credit for that. Sometimes it was hard. I remember 6 months ago I told you to stay, just stay. Things are going to happen. You'll be very happy. I didn't know they were going to happen this fast or this conclusively. One thing I think everyone has to know is that if we didn't do this, China or Russia would have done it. And if China or Russia were a next-door neighbor, because essentially this is not around the other parts of the world so far away where you fly in an airplane for 24 hours before you get there. This is sort of a next-door neighbor if you think about it. And I told China and I told Russia, we get along with you very well. We like you very much. We don't want you there. Not going to be there. And if we didn't do this, China would have been there and Russia would have been there. Maybe they both would have been there together, but they're not going to be there now. One thing I will tell them, and I will tell you, that we are open for business. China can buy all the oil they want from us there or in the United States. Russia can get all the oil they need from us, and they do like oil, even though they produce a lot of it. But China and Russia and everybody else is able to go, and we'll be open for business almost immediately. I have a feeling the $100 million will be spent $100 billion will be spent very, very rapidly by these very big, powerful, and rich companies, and I think they're going to be able to rebuild the infrastructure. And I hope it's going to be brand new as opposed to a rehab, because I know the tremendous difference between the new and the not so new in your industry. The new is much more beautiful, much better in every way, and actually much smaller. It's like everything else, gets smaller and stronger. It's a combination of smaller, better, and stronger. So I hope you're going to build all brand new stuff, rip out the old crap that's been there for so many years, and do it the right way. You're going to be there a long time if we make a deal. If we make a deal, you're going to be there a long time. If we don't make a deal, you won't be there at all. It's, sort of interesting. But again, China and Russia would have been there if we didn't do this. And the other thing, people ask about the second wave. I don't think it's going to be necessary. We have an armada, a giant armada like nobody's ever seen in that part of the world. And it's stationed off the coast. And we are getting along so well with the people that are involved and representing Venezuela that I don't think we're going to have any, I don't think it's going to be necessary to do the second wave. We were planning on a second wave, but the first wave was so powerful and so good and so strong. And frankly, the people in the country, they did the right thing. They were smart. They did the right thing. They didn't want to go through a second wave. But we've got a tremendous number of the most powerful ships in the world right there. I don't think we're going to have to use that. I'm happy to say that. I don't think we're going to have to use that at all. If I could ask Chevron, you did a great job. I want to thank you. And ExxonMobil, I would say a few words, and then followed by Conoco, great companies, massive companies, great companies. Exxon, please.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate the invitation and the opportunity, frankly, for the entire industry to show up and provide a perspective. Frankly, we've been kind of unresponsive to the press regarding Venezuela, but I guess today's the opportunity to address the press directly with respect to a number of questions that have been asked of ExxonMobil. First and foremost, obviously, is the interest that we have in Venezuela. And I think, the way I would position that, and I think one of the reasons why we see many of the industry players here is we're in a depletion business for a product that is in great demand and will be in demand for many, many, many decades to come. And as a depletion business, the biggest challenge we have is finding resources. there's an opportunity in Venezuela with all the resources there. Is we don't have that challenge of finding, we have the challenge of developing those resources. So I think it's in the best interest of these companies and frankly society as a whole for the industry to be interested in understanding what the opportunity here represents. I'll just share a philosophy that ExxonMobil has when we enter countries, because we do business all around the world in a number of different regimes. We take a very long-term perspective. The investments that we make span decades and decades, so we do not go into any opportunity with a short-term mindset. And there's a value proposition that we have to meet. It has to be a win-win proposition. Obviously, it has to be a win for the company and our shareholders and to generate a return for the investments that we make. It has to be a win for the government. The resources are an important source of revenue that help support the people of the places that we do business. And it has to be a win for the people. We have to be wanted there and to be a good neighbor. And those three things ensure a stable, long-term platform for the large investments that we make for the long term. With respect to Venezuela in particular, we have a very long history in Venezuela. In fact, we first got into Venezuela back in the 1940s. We've had our assets seized there twice, and so you can imagine to re-enter a third time would require some pretty significant changes from what we've historically seen here and what is currently the state. If we look at the legal and commercial constructs and frameworks in place today in Venezuela, today it's uninvestable. And so significant changes have to be made to those commercial frameworks, the legal system. There has to be durable investment protections, and there has to be a change to the hydrocarbon laws in the country. We're confident that with this administration and President Trump working hand in hand with the Venezuelan government, that those changes can be put in place. And with respect to the Venezuelan government, that perspective we don't have a view on. We haven't talked to the Venezuelan government, and obviously we have yet to assess the people's perspective with respect to ExxonMobil entering the country. In the short term, there are things that can be done while these longer-term issues are being worked. For us, we haven't been in the country for almost 20 years. We think it's absolutely critical in the short term that we get a technical team in place to assess the current state of the industry and the assets, to understand what would be involved to help the people of Venezuela get production back on the market. With the invitation of the Venezuelan government and with appropriate security guarantees, we are ready to put a team on the ground there. We also have a integrated set of capabilities from production to refining to trading, and I think we can be of assistance to getting the Venezuelan crude to market and realizing a market price to help, again, with the financial situation in Venezuela. So those are my short-term perspective that I have. I'd say maybe close with a thank you, Mr. President, for the work that you've done to secure not only the national security, but the energy security of the region. And then thank you, Secretary Rubio, Secretary Wright, Secretary Burgum, for your leadership in this matter. Thank you.
How long would it take you, Darren, as Exxon to, if we make a deal, how long would it take you to get in there and get started?
Well, the first step, this technical team, as I talked with Secretary Wright earlier this week, we started from the beginning to put the team together so that if and when it was needed, we could hit the ground almost immediately. So we can hit the ground in the next couple of weeks, start the assessment, and then from there we need to understand.
That's what we want. We want speed and quality. That's what we want. Thank you, Darren. And Conoco, Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate the opportunity to be here too, and you've assembled a great team. And our congratulations as well for removing one of the terrible people in the world and bringing them to justice. It was quite amazing. I think you've given hope to the people of Venezuela again, which I think is quite remarkable. And we've been on the other end of that despot regime a long time. Our assets were expropriated. I had a little bit more hair when that happened. And, you know, I think we're the largest non-sovereign credit holder in Venezuela today. So we're in a bit of a different situation, but I think your big and bold idea to use energy commerce instead of conflict is something that could make a real big difference in Venezuela. And our company certainly stands ready to help in that endeavor. Encourage you to continue to think bigger and even bolder, and we've had some discussions with your energy team about that as well. As we think about the other people that need to be in this room and in this discussion are the banks, and including probably the Exim Bank, as we think about how the debt needs to be restructured and the financing to deliver the billions of dollars that are required to restore their energy infrastructure. And I think as we think that big and bold, we need to be also thinking about even restructuring the entire Venezuelan energy system, including PDVSA. And I think if we can do that and think bold, there's an opportunity to be quick, fast, and restore the quality of what's happened in Venezuela, or what's been lost in Venezuela over the course of the last 25 years. So thank you for this opportunity.
Well, thank you very much, and you'll get a lot of your money back. We're going to start with an even plate, though. We're not going to look at what people lost in the past, because that was their fault. That was a different president. You're going to make a lot of money, but we're not going to go back. You left a lot of money behind, I guess, huh? What number?
12 billion.
How much?
12 billion.
Well, it's a good write-off.
It's already been written off.
It's been written. All right, thank you. You'll make it back one way or the other. You're all going to do very well. I think really very well. Marco just gave me a note. Go back to Chevron. They want to discuss something. Go ahead. I'm going back to Chevron, Marco. Thank you, Marco.
Was there a question, Mr. President?
Yes, go ahead, Marco. What are you saying here?
Mark, if you can
yeah.
update us on operations in the ground and with the appropriate approvals, what you might be able to achieve in the next 12 to 18 months, give us a little view from the ground.
You bet, you bet. So today, Chevron has 3,000 employees in 4 different joint ventures in Venezuela today. And over the past 5 to 7 years, they've taken production from about 40,000 barrels a day to 240,000 barrels a day, essentially getting those facilities and that equipment up to standards that would be something that people in the room would be more accustomed to. Given the work we've done with Secretary Wright and Secretary Burgum and even Secretary Bessent, I think we have a path forward here very shortly to be able to increase our liftings from those joint ventures 100%, essentially effective immediately. We are also able to increase our production within our own disciplined investment schemes by about 50% just in the next 18 to 24 months, and that's just leveraging what's on the ground. So to Secretary Rubio's comments about phase 1, this is taking the momentum of improvements we've already made there locally and building on those and creating more momentum for the people of Venezuela.
Do you think you have an advantage being there? It's, you've been there by the skin of your teeth. It's been tough for you to be there. But do you think you have an advantage over the other people in this room by the fact that you are there?
Yeah, I think there are, Mr. President, I think there would be days where it didn't feel like an advantage, and there are days where it does feel like an advantage. But having people on the ground today that care desperately about the people of Venezuela and know how to operate the assets that are there is a definite advantage today.
Would you say the best locations are available, or would you say the best locations are already sort of worked, even though they're in very bad shape? The best locations for finding oil, the best locations for oil.
There are more opportunities than not, Mr. President. With 300 billion barrels of reserves and resources in country, there are lots of opportunities for many companies.
Will you be building new, or will you be using the old infrastructure that you have?
Yeah, today it's a little bit of a mix, but today it's mostly us taking the equipment of today, getting it to the standards that we are accustomed to your comments about making it how it should be today. Most of the investments that we've been making are about getting it up to our standards.
Well, I think you're going to make an investment, but you're going to get your money back very quickly, and that's part of our thing. We're going to have you get your money back fast, and then you'll give a lot to Venezuela and to the United States after that. Okay, so you'll be in good shape. Could I ask Harold Hamm to say a few words? He's been a friend of mine for a long time. Very amazing man, actually, amazing energy person.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. It's good to be here with so many dignified people. And this effort particularly, and thank you for your effort for what you've done here, taking this despot out of that area. And the world dealt with him way too long. Certainly our industry knows that this is a real jewel that can be developed for the people of Venezuela, and also benefit the world. And like Secretary Wright said, it has not been done. That's not been done in the past, and they had a good chance at it. Brought someone in that totally took it down, as everybody knows here, and that was Chavez, and we know what happened to him finally. But you know that ruined the industry in Venezuela, and all of us know how that ended very well, very wrongly. So anyway, we're glad to see what's happened here, and look forward for the opportunity for a lot of people in this room, but also for America and the country itself.
Are you going to be involved in going in? Because, you know, he's in North Dakota and he's in Oklahoma and some incredible places. It's a little bit different, but there's no doubt about you won't have to worry about the straw too much here. You can just go at it. Are you going to be one of the participants?
Well, certainly, you know, I'm an oil finder, like you said. You know, Barry Spitzer, you know, told that story.
The coach.
And he's kind of exaggerated a little bit. It doesn't come out quite that easily usually. But anyway, great story. I love it. But I love Barry.
Barry's the one that told me this.
Yeah, he's a champion, you know, in a lot of ways. So love that story. Certainly, it excites me as an explorationist. You know, everybody has that in their blood, and you know, it is a very exciting country and a lot of reserves, and so it's got its challenges, and the industry knows how to handle that. And like Darren said, you know, you go into your eyes open and do the best you can with the team you got. So
well, you're going to have
you.
something that they never had really here is tremendous security. You're going to be very secure, very safe, physically safe, in addition to financially safe. So it's good to see you, Harold. Thank you very much. Does anybody have anything to say before we get to the press?
What does Cuba have to do to avoid the same fate as Venezuela? What does Cuba have to do?
Well, Cuba's in bad shape. Cuba relied on Venezuela for oil and for money. And nobody really knows what's going to happen with Cuba. They're doing very poorly. They're really third world all the way. And we have a lot of great Cuban Americans. And I would say Marco fits very solidly into that category. And I might ask you to say a few words about, we were discussing it before, Cuba is a very different, they don't have energy, they don't have oil, but they would live off of the oil from Venezuela. And what they do have is very strong people. And very powerful people militarily, and they would protect the people running Venezuela, and they would take in a lot of money from Venezuela. Now they don't have that. They won't be taking in any money. So, Marco, what do you think?
Well, I mean, the fundamental problem in Cuba is that it's run by incompetent people that don't know what an economy looks like, much less a functioning one. They've made a choice, and that is they would rather have political control over the people than they would to have an economy that functions. And they've gotten away with it for 60-something years because they've had donors, the Soviet Union, and now most recently Venezuela. But that's now gone. So the people in control in Cuba have a choice to make. They can either have a real country with a real economy where their people can prosper, or they can continue with their failing dictatorship that's going to lead to systemic and societal collapse. So it's a very stark and dramatic choice, and it's one we hope to make the right one. We don't have an interest in a destabilized Cuba, but that would be their fault because they refuse to allow the people of Cuba to have either economic or political freedom for that matter.
And you have a lot of people in this country that want to go back to Cuba and help Cuba. A lot of people have left, you know, they came in penniless, they didn't have anything, and they've become very rich people in our country, and they want to very much go back and help Cuba. So that's something that Cuba has that a lot of other places don't have. Peter?
President Trump, thank you. I do want to ask you about Minnesota, but first, just more on topic. President Zelensky said that he was watching with the rest of the world as you made this order to go and capture Nicolas Maduro. And he said, if that's how it works with dictators, then the United States knows what to do next. Sounds like he wants you to go and capture Vladimir Putin. Would you ever order a mission to go and capture Vladimir Putin?
Well, I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think we're going to have I've always had a great relationship with him. I'm very disappointed. I settled 8 wars. I thought this would be in the middle of the pack or maybe one of the easier ones. And I don't know if you know, Peter, the last month they lost 31,000 people, many of them Russian soldiers, and the Russian economy is doing poorly. I think we're going to end up getting it settled. I wish we could have done it quicker because a lot of people are dying, and mostly soldiers. You know, they get hit in Kiev and they get hit a little bit here and there, and people are dying there too. But largely, it's the soldier population. When you have 30,000, 31,000 soldiers dying in a period of a month, 27,000 the month before, 26,000 the month before that, that's bad stuff. So, as you know, President Biden gave $350 billion to Ukraine to fight, and we would never get that back, although I did make a rare earth deal to get it back, so we will be getting it back, but shouldn't have done that. It was a bad thing to do. I will say that right now, because I was able to get NATO to up GDP from 2% to 5%, NATO's got a lot of money, and they're paying for everything. We're not losing any money. We're making a lot of money, I guess, if you think of it, because we're selling them military equipment. They're probably giving it to Ukraine. But we're selling them to NATO military equipment. We're getting full price and all of that. But that's not a big deal to me. What is a big deal is stopping a war where 30,000 people are being killed every single month.
On Minnesota, the vice president yesterday suggested that Renee Good, who was killed by this ICE officer, was part of a broad left-wing network. What has your team told you about this broad left-wing network? Who is in charge of it? Who's part of it? What's it called?
Well, I haven't seen the vice president's statement, but he's generally very accurate. I hate to say it. Look, I watched that yesterday, and there were a lot of different forms to it. But there was a woman screaming, "Shame, shame, shame, shame." She was a agitator, probably a paid agitator, but in my opinion, she was an agitator, a very high-level agitator, so professional. She wouldn't stop screaming. I said, this isn't a normal situation. This is a professional troublemaker, because you heard it and I had it. Now, I will say this. The news sort of turned her down, turned her off, because you're trying to watch. She was so loud and so crazy and just not normal. When somebody sees something like that, they don't go screaming and screaming and the same words. So I guess you could say professional, but I didn't think she did a very good job. You have agitators, and we will always be protecting ICE, and we're always going to be protecting our Border Patrol and our law enforcement. Yeah.
In your conversations with these oil executives today, did you provide any security guarantees so that they can do their work safely in Venezuela? Yeah. And separately, Mr. President,
they will have those guarantees, yes.
And separately, Mr. President, I'm curious in terms of the future of Venezuela. Do you see Venezuela, now led by Delcy Rodriguez, as an ally of the U.S.? Is that the way that you view that country right now?
Well, right now they seem to be an ally, and I think it'll continue to be an ally, and we don't want to have Russia there. We don't want to have China there. And by the way, we don't want Russia or China going to Greenland, which if we don't take Greenland, you're going to have Russia or China as your next door neighbor. That's not going to happen. The white?
Mr. President, thank you. You just said that these companies would have security guarantees if they go in on the ground in Venezuela.
They will have.
And what is your plan there actually for these companies and those Americans who are going to be on the ground working for these companies?
Well, there are going to be Americans. I assume they're going to be using a lot of Americans, but they're going to be using a lot of people from Venezuela and other places, I would imagine. But I would think that mostly they'll be using Venezuelan workers. They have a lot of great workers. They have a very high unemployment rate, and they have workers that are very familiar with taking oil out of the ground. Yeah.
How long do you think the Ayatollah will be in power after what we've seen play out on the ground there? When is the U.S. going to get involved now that reports of protesters being killed on the ground?
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it. We're watching it very closely. Go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Do you have any comments in reaction to the recent attacks by the Syrian government alignment groups against US-backed Kurdish forces in Aleppo, Syria, which killed dozens of civilians and displacing many families? Does your administration bring peace between the Kurds and the Syrian government?
I want to see peace, yes, I do. The Kurds and the Syrian government, we get along with both, as you know very well. They have been natural enemies over the years, but we get along both, and we want to see Syria succeed. And so far, I think they are succeeding, but this is just breaking out, and we want to see that stopped. Go ahead, please.
Colombia, Gustavo Petro, in a few weeks. Do you hope this meeting with Gustavo Petro marks a new chapter, a new beginning in the benefit of the U.S. and Colombia relations?
What country?
Colombia, with the president of Colombia, Gustavo
yes,
Petro.
I had a very good talk with him yesterday, and he's been very hostile to us and to the nation and to me, called me a dictator and lots of other things. Called Biden some terrible names, far worse than he called me. But he called yesterday through people, and he wants to meet, and that's fine with me. I've made up with people also, you know. So we're going to have a meeting with him. We had a very good conversation. The people of Colombia are incredible people. Marco would know that better than anybody because he's married to a woman from Colombia. And I don't mean Columbia University. That would be, I'm not sure. I think I like Colombia, the country, better, if you want to know the truth. The people are, hold it. The people are great people. I look forward to meeting with them. We're going to meet in the very near future.
President of Venezuela here in the White House. Would you greet her to discuss the fate of the oil?
Yeah, well, I'm going to meet a lot of people, and we're going to meet, you know, we meet a lot of people. When you end 8 wars, you get to know a lot of people, and I think it's very important. As an example, we have over $18 trillion, think of that, $18 trillion coming into our country. A lot of that's coming in from foreign countries like Saudi Arabia and Qatar and UAE and others. And I get to meet a lot of people, but I will be meeting with various representatives of Venezuela, probably pretty soon. We haven't set that up. But the relationship that we have with the people that are currently running Venezuela is very good. We also have a young lady that received the Nobel Peace Prize. She's going to come in and pay her regards to our country, really, to me, but you know, I'm a representative of the country, nothing else. And she's coming in sometime next week, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, and we'll see how that is. But no, we're dealing with the people from Venezuela. We're dealing with them very well. I think they've been very smart in the way they've dealt with us, frankly, because that whole place could have been obliterated with one more strike, and we didn't want to do that.
Venezuela and your meeting with Machado next week, if she gives you her Nobel Peace Prize, will that change your view about her running that country?
Well, I have to speak to her. I mean, I'm going to have to speak to her. She might be involved in some aspect of it. I will have to speak to her. I think it's very nice that she wants to come in, and that's what I understand the reason is, because Norway is very embarrassed by what took place. I mean, they're getting decimated. Look, whether people like Trump or don't like Trump, I settled 8 wars, big ones, some going on for 36 years, 32 years, 31 years, 28 years, 25 years, some just getting ready to start, like India and Pakistan, where already 8 jets were shot out of the air, and I got it done in rapid order without nuclear weapons. I can't think of anybody in history that should get the Nobel Prize more than me, and I don't want to be bragging, but nobody else settled wars. Obama got the Nobel Prize. He had no idea why. He still has no idea. He walks around, he says, I got the Nobel Prize. Why did he get a Nobel Prize? He got it almost immediately upon attaining office, and he didn't do anything, and he was a bad president. So, I mean, you should get the Nobel Prize for every war you stopped. These were major wars. These were wars that nobody thought could be stopped. President Putin called me, and he said about 2 of the wars that he's been trying to stop them for 10 years. He wasn't able to do it. He couldn't believe it. So in theory, you should get the Nobel Prize for every war you stopped. Every one of them was major. But I don't care about that. What I care about is saving lives. I've saved tens of millions of lives. You know, the Prime Minister of Pakistan came here, and he made a very public statement. He said that President Trump saved minimum 10 million lives having to do with Pakistan and India, and that was going to be raging. So, you know, but I'm honored that she's coming here. I look forward to meeting her, yes. Go ahead.
The state officials there have said that the FBI is not sharing evidence with them. Typically, they would conduct a joint investigation, as you know. Do you believe that the FBI should be sharing evidence with state officials in Minnesota?
Well, normally I would, but they're crooked officials. I mean, Minneapolis and Minnesota, what a beautiful place, but it's being destroyed. It's got an incompetent governor, fool. I mean, he's a stupid person. And it looks like the number could be $19 billion stolen from a lot of people, but largely people from Somalia. They buy their vote. They vote in a group. They buy their vote. They sell more Mercedes-Benzes in that area than almost. Can you imagine? You come over with no money, and then shortly thereafter you're driving a Mercedes-Benz. The whole thing is ridiculous. So they're very corrupt people. It's a very corrupt state. I feel that I won Minnesota. I think I won it all 3 times. Nobody's won it since Richard Nixon won it many, many years ago. I won it all 3 times, in my opinion, and it's a corrupt state, a corrupt voting state, and the Republicans ought to get smart and demand on voter ID. They ought to demand maybe same-day voting and all of the other things that you have to have safe election. But I won Minnesota 3 times, and I didn't get credit for it. I did so well in that state every time. The people were crying every time after. That's a crooked state. California is a crooked state. Many crooked states. We have a very, very dishonest voting system. The last time I won, 24, the one that just took place, I won because it was too big to rig. You couldn't rig it. It was too big. But I won the state of Minnesota. It's a corrupt voting system with an incompetent governor, a very incompetent governor. And by the way, he's a very corrupt governor, too. Go ahead.
I have a question on Iran, but first, very quickly on Venezuela. How do you provide total security guarantees to these companies without putting U.S. boots on the ground?
Well, we're going to work with the Venezuelan leaders and people, and we're going to have a very safe group, and they're going to also bring over some security with them. You know, these are not babies. These are people that drill oil in some pretty rough places. I could say a couple of those places make Venezuela look like a picnic. These people around the table, these are tough people. They go into areas that you wouldn't want to go. They go into areas that if they invited me, I'd say, no thanks, I'll see you back in Palm Beach. No, this is a tough group of people. They know how to do it. But we are, in addition to that, we'll have very good security for them. We're going to make sure there's very, very good security. And I think the people of Venezuela are going to give you very good security. You know, the people... Now, I'm not talking even leadership. The people of Venezuela are going wild over this. They named a street after President Trump. What do? You attack a country and they name a street? That's never happened before. Although I heard that's also taking place in Iran. They named a street. The protesters. I just hope, you know, just God bless them. I just hope the protesters in Iran are going to be safe, because that's a very dangerous place right now. And again, I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting, because we'll start shooting too. With your glasses, sir, go ahead, please. Hold it. Next to you. Yes, glasses. The gentleman with the glasses.
All right, thank you, Mr. President.
With those very big glasses, actually.
Yeah, Ferrari, actually. Mr. President, I have 2 questions. What do you want the European Union to do in Ukraine? The European leaders seem pretty divided on Ukraine. And then, if you can reiterate this straight message that you have to the Iranian leader, to Khomeini, the message that you have.
You're talking about Iran?
Iran, yeah.
What
the
do
first
I
one
want
is on
Iran
Europe.
to do?
I'm sorry?
Where are you from?
Italy.
Oh, nice place.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first question
So
is
what
on
are you
Europe.
asking about Iran for?
Well, if you can answer about Europe and what you think the Europeans should do on Ukraine, and then a message.
Well, look, Europe has been doing so much for Ukraine, but it hasn't been enough. And obviously that I would say that President Putin is not afraid of Europe. He's afraid of the United States of America, as led by me. there's no fear of Europe. You know, Europe's fallen behind, and Europe, and JD said it very strongly. I don't know, he took a lot of heat, but I didn't give him any heat. Europe is a different place. Europe is changing. Europe has got to get its act together. I love Europe. I guess I came from Europe, essentially. My roots are in Europe, but Europe is a different place. They have to get their act together. Now they have a great NATO leader, and they've gone up to 5% from 2% GDP. That's a big step. But they have to be very careful with their immigration policy, and they have to be because, I will just say, to be nice, that there are certain places in Europe that are very important that are no longer recognizable. I'm being very nice. I'm being very diplomatic when I say that. They are not recognizable, and they have to be careful on energy because they're putting windmills all over the place and losing a fortune. They're destroying their country. They're destroying the beautiful landscapes, the beautiful everything. They're doing. And by the way, in case you people don't know, I'm not much of a windmill person. I can proudly say, Doug, that we have not approved one windmill since I've been in office, and we're going to keep it that way. My goal is to not let any windmill be built. They're losers. They lose money. They destroy your landscape. They kill your birds. They're all made in China. And all you have to do is, just about all of the windmills are made in China, the structures. All you have to do is say to China, how many windmill areas do you have in China? So far, they're not able to find any. They use coal and they use oil and gas and some nuclear, not much, but they don't have windmills. They make them and sell them to suckers like Europe and suckers like the United States before. They are the worst form of energy, the most expensive form of energy, and in 8 years they're rotted out anyway. Go take a look at Palm Springs, California, and take a look at what that looks like. It looks like a junkyard of steel. So we don't approve, and I've told my people, we will not approve windmills. Maybe we get forced to do something because some stupid person in the Biden administration agreed to do something years ago. We will not approve any windmills in this country.
On Venezuela, is it ultimately more important to you to establish stability there or democracy there?
Well, you're talking about maybe the same thing. I mean, you're talking about stability or democracy. I don't know. To me, it's almost the same thing. We want stability, but we do want democracy. Ultimately, it'll be democracy. Peter?
I do have a policy question, President Trump, but I'm having a hard time seeing here. I see the American flag lapel pin. What is the other lapel pin on
Somebody
your jacket?
gave me this. You know
Trump.
what that is? That's called a happy Trump. And considering the fact that I'm never happy, I'm never satisfied, I will never be satisfied until we make America great again, but we're getting pretty close, I'll tell you what. This is called a happy Trump. Somebody gave it to me, I put it on.
Thank you. And the policy question. How much money are you thinking of giving people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay? I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. And I'm a man, and by the way, I'm a fan of Denmark too. I have to tell you, and they've been very nice to me. I'm a big fan, but the fact that they had a boat land there 500 years ago doesn't mean that they own the land. I'm sure we had lots of boats go there also, but we need that because if you take a look outside of Greenland right now, there are Russian destroyers, there are Chinese destroyers and bigger, there are Russian submarines all over the place. We're not going to have Russia or China occupy Greenland, and that's what they're going to do if we don't. So we're going to be doing something with Greenland, either the nice way or the more difficult way. Please, go ahead, ma'am.
Why is it so important to you to own it when you have a military presence there, which you could expand to affect the security?
Because when we own it, we defend it. You don't defend leases the same way. You have to own it. And, with a nation, look at what happened with Obama, with that horrible deal they made with Iran. It was a short-term deal. It was like a 9-year deal. Countries can't make 9-year deals or even 100-year deals. Countries have to have ownership. And you defend ownership, you don't defend leases. And we'll have to defend Greenland. If we don't do it, China or Russia will. It's not going to happen. We are not going to have, and I like China, I like Russia, I love the people of China, I love the people of Russia. I get along very well with President Putin, but I'm very disappointed in him. I get along very well with President Xi. I'm going to go over to China in April, but I don't want them as a neighbor in Greenland. Not going to happen. And by the way, and NATO's got to understand that. I'm all for NATO. I saved NATO. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have a NATO right now. But we're not going to allow Russia or China to occupy Greenland, and that's what's going to happen if we don't. Go ahead.
Mr. President, one, can you respond to that? And two,
Yeah, it was an amazing report. The most amazing thing is government jobs are way down, and yet the unemployment or the employment numbers are very good. We've gotten rid of tremendous numbers of federal government jobs. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And yet the employment numbers are very good. They're really getting better. But now we have all those people to work in the private sector for a lot more money. I think that's one of the very big things. The other thing is at 5.4%. And remember, this is after we had a shutdown. And that shutdown had an impact because the concept of the shutdown, even though it's before, people knew we were going to be shutting down. A lot of bad things happened. And by the way, on January 30th, you may have another shutdown. We'll see what happens. But I think the numbers, Caitlin, were really amazing. Look, to think about 5.4%, nobody thought that. They thought it was going to be 2%. And you know what it is? It's tariffs. And it's also November 5th. We had a great election, a great election. Our country was dead 1.5 years ago. And now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And I hope you guys were impressed. 5.4%. And we haven't even really transitioned yet. There's no reason it can't be much, much higher than that. Yeah.
First off, can you respond to the manufacturing
Let's
number?
give CNN a chance. You know, they've been fighting so hard to get back into the mainstream.
Mr. President, you posted some numbers actually on Truth Social last night. People saying you posted the job data early when you're not supposed to obviously share it till the next morning. Did you do that on purpose?
No, I don't know. If they posted them, I said post them whenever you get a chance. I don't know. They gave me some numbers. When people give me things, I post them. But the numbers are amazing. Yeah, please.
Administration plan to distribute the money from the Venezuela oil sales? Is it, obviously you say it's going to go into these controlled accounts.
Yeah.
Would it go back to Venezuela in a
Yeah.
direct payment? Is it going through these goods? How do you plan to do that?
Well,
And
we
then I have
want
a
to make
second
sure
question.
that Venezuela can survive. You know, Venezuela needs money, and we're going to make sure that they get money. And we're going to get money, and the oil companies are going to make something for the work they do, and they're going to get back their money. We're devising a formula, but it won't be so much of a formula. It's going to be what they need. We're going to take care of what they need. There'll be plenty left over. We're going to have a lot of money left over. And the money left over is going to the United States of America, and the oil companies are going to be very happy. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr.
My second question is, would the administration offer a backstop to these oil companies for like financial guarantees, some sort of backstop, if the country did destabilize again?
That's a very interesting question. Using the word backstop, I haven't heard that word in a long time. That was at the Wharton School of Finance I last heard. That's a good term. We ought to use it more often. I hope I don't have to give a backstop. Look, these are very smart people, the smartest people. They're not only in oil and business. These are the biggest companies in the world sitting around this table. They know the risks. I mean, there are risks. We're going to help them out. We're going to make it real easy. They're going to be there for a long time. We're going to be there together for a long, long time. And they're going to be taking the oil, and they're going to be bringing oil prices down. They're going to make a lot of money. They're going to get their money back. They're going to be safe. The people of Venezuela are going to be big beneficiaries, and the United States of America is going to be a big beneficiary for what we've done. And you know, one other thing I might say, it's also very big for national security because, again, just like Greenland, we can't have China or Russia occupy Greenland. We can't have China or Russia occupy Venezuela. And if we didn't do what we did, China or Russia would have been in Venezuela. I think I can, where's Mr. Chevron? So let me ask you, they would have been there if we didn't do this. Do you agree with that?
They certainly have a lot of economic interests in country. There's absolutely no argument about that.
They were trying to be there. I mean, you know, we had a Russia, I guess sort of I call it a semi-Russian ship yesterday that we took over, and Russia decided not to defend that ship against us. It's a big movement. The ship was loaded up with oil, and we took the oil, and it came out of that port. But Russia would be there or China would be there. And we want them to be there for a different reason. We want them, do you people agree? In particular, China, they need a lot of oil. Russia doesn't need so much, but Russia was there anyway. But I assume you agree that China would like to be doing a lot of business there by buying oil. And I want to just tell President Xi and President Putin, but more so in this case, President Xi, because they do need a lot of oil. And we are open for business in the United States, and we are open for business in Venezuela, right? Go ahead, sure.
Mr. President,
You know,
what is your met?
I could take questions from these people all day long. You know, they're sitting here, and generally they're very rich, very powerful, but nobody gives a damn about them. It's a sad thing. You have all that money, all that power, and look at all these crazy questions. We could do this all day long, and they wouldn't be satisfied.
I have a question on today's meeting, Mr.
We'll
President.
take a few more,
I have
though.
a question on today's meeting, Mr. President.
Do you have? Let me ask you more importantly. Do you have any questions from the biggest?
Yeah, sure.
Hold it. Do you have any questions for the biggest people on earth, the biggest business people, the biggest companies anywhere on earth? Do you have any questions for these people? No. Do you have a question for them? Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask them a question.
To rebuilding the oil infrastructure in Venezuela, and for the executives in the room, what do you need from the administration in order to invest?
That's a good question. Do you want to go and answer that question?
Yeah,
Exxon, small company.
I'll refer you back to the statements I made before. There are a number of legal and commercial frameworks that would have to be established to even understand what kind of returns that we'd get on the investments. So I think all the investments and the opportunity sets, I think everyone sitting around this table would have the opportunity and the know-how and the capability to make the investments. The questions will ultimately be how durable are the protections from a financial standpoint, what do the returns look like, what are the commercial arrangements, the legal frameworks, all those things have to be put in place in order to make a decision to understand what your return would be over the next several decades that these billion-dollar investments would be made on.
You know, could I do this? Because we have, again, the biggest people on the planet Earth around this table, biggest companies in the world. I'd like to just ask them to introduce themselves. We'll start from this end and go around to here. And if you have anything to quickly say, we can do that. But you want to just start right over here? These two guys, we'll leave them out because they're with us. Please.
Thank you, President Trump. John Addison at VTOL. We're here to ensure that you are going to be able to move all of this oil all around the world at the best price possible so that the influence that you have over the Venezuelans will ensure that you get what you want.
Thank you. Thank you. Good point.
Thank you, Mr. President. Brian Sheffield of Formentera. My grandfather, Hugh Sheffield, was president of ARCO, Venezuela.
Right.
Thank you for what you did.
Do you like what we're doing?
There's a lot of shale there, a lot of upside.
He would be very happy looking down. He'd be very proud of you right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. President, Luis Rodriguez. I'm probably the only Venezuelan American sitting on around this table. I want to personally thank you for the courage of your actions over the last couple of weeks. I think I speak, and I speak of Venezuela in general in saying there's optimism. You've brought optimism to the table, and if the conditions are met, the opportunity is absolutely immense.
I agree with that. That's true. Thank you. Well said, too. It's immense. This is a tremendous opportunity. Thank you.
Richard Holton from Trafigura. We're working with your administration, Mr. President, to bring that Venezuelan oil to the United States. Our first vessel should load in the next week.
Right. Good job. Thank you.
I think the reason that most of us are here and thinking about the future is because we trust you initially to set this program up that will work and guarantee that this can be done. And there's a huge investment that needs to be done. We've all agreed on that. And certainly we need time to see that through. So thank you for what you've done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'm Lane Riggs, CEO of Valero Energy, and we're one of those companies that refineries in the U.S. are uniquely configured to run Venezuelan oil, and we're more than happy as this opportunity expands for us to further invest in our refineries to produce more of it.
And you're very much set up for the heavy oil, right?
Yes, sir.
That's great. That's great. We're ready for it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you.
And thank you for opening the door to a better Venezuela. We are a Spanish company, but we are fully committed to invest here in the States. We have invested over the last 15 years, $21 billion in the American oil and gas industry, in Pennsylvania, in the Gulf of America, in Texas, and in Alaska, with the discovery of Pica that is going to have the first oil this quarter, and is going to change, is going to reverse the declining history of that great state of Alaska. We are in Venezuela, Mr. President, with our partners of Eni. We produce the gas that guarantees the stability of a half of the grid power in Venezuela. So we are committed with this stability, and on top of that, we are on the ground. We have people, we have facilities, we have technical capabilities. And I take your point, Mr. President. We are ready to invest more in Venezuela. Today, we are producing 45,000 barrels a day gross of oil, and we are ready to multiply by 3 this figure in coming 2-3 years, investing hard in the country, following your recommendation, if you allow us, of course, and in the framework, commercial and legal framework that could allow this growth. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Great job you've done. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for having me. Matt Sheehy, I'm with Tallgrass Energy. We are an infrastructure business, so whether it's oil, gas, CO2, we move that around. So most of my customers are sitting around the table, and happy to lend our expertise to what's going on in Venezuela to support the people. And obviously infrastructure is going to be critical to see it repaired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you. An honor to be here. Marianne Mannon, Marathon Petroleum. We are one of the largest U.S. refiners. On behalf of the men and women of Marathon Petroleum and of our industry, thank you and the administration for what you're doing for U.S. energy independence. We have the ability and the capability of our assets to process Venezuelan crude, and the people of Marathon Petroleum stand ready to do so.
Do we need more refineries in our country?
In the U.S., probably
Yes.
not. We have sufficient capacity.
That's amazing. A lot of it was approved during my first term. We were getting you approvals that nobody could have gotten in Louisiana and other places, and they got built. Before that, it was a disaster. We didn't have the refineries. Now we do because of the first term. Please.
Darren Woods, ExxonMobil.
Okay, we'll go over here.
Thank you, Mr. President. Jeff Hildebrand, founder and chairman of Hillcorp Energy, one of the largest private energy companies in America.
Who's bigger, you or Harold?
We're close.
Huh?
We're close. Harold. Absolutely, Mr. Ham. But thank you for your great, tremendous leadership in protecting the interests in the Western Hemisphere. The message that you have sent to China and our enemies to stay out of our backyard is absolutely fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And finally, Hillcorp is fully committed and ready to go to rebuilding the infrastructure in Venezuela.
You'll go there? You'll be going?
Yes.
Good. That's good. You'll be very happy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Jeff Miller, CEO Halliburton Company. We are the largest American oilfield services company. We're the second largest in the world, been in business over 100 years. Started operations in Venezuela in 1938, long time in Venezuela. I personally lived there for 4 years and raised my kids there. So quite familiar with Venezuela, and just couldn't express gratitude more so for the opportunity to return to Venezuela under the stability that I know that this team and your team are able to deliver. And so
When did you leave?
Huh?
When did you leave Venezuela?
As a company, we left under the sanctions in 2019. So we had intended to stay, and then when the sanctions went into place, we were required to leave. But very much interested in returning. Have 600 Venezuelans with Halliburton today, all around the world. Look forward to putting them back to work.
Great job. Great
Thank
job.
you.
You'll be back. Please.
Mr. President, I'm Alex Cranberg. My company, Aspect Energy, is one of the leading American international wildcatters. We've found significant fields in Central
Are
and
you a
South.
wildcatter?
I'm a wildcatter.
That's pretty cool, I'll tell you. I would have been a wildcatter too if I was in. And you've been successfully wildcatting.
We've found significant fields in Central and South America, in the Middle East, and in Europe. We're a leading
That's
oil
great.
producer in Hungary. But probably the most pertinent example is what a wildcatter does is take on risk and try to reduce it. And then other people come in and put more capital in later, so we're kind of kickstarters in the oil industry. We went into Kurdistan very early on, back when
Right.
people told us it wasn't safe and we shouldn't do it. We found a big field there, and it ultimately has got to be developed along with one of my colleagues here to be one of the big leading fields in Kurdistan. We think that Venezuela has a tremendous amount of opportunity. If you look at the reinvestment required, the investment required, people are talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. But if you put that in perspective, that's 1 million barrels a day for 15 years is $220 billion net cash flow. So what we really need to do is to be able to kickstart production and then reinvest and have the confidence to reinvest. And what you're doing by putting the United States in control of the cash flow coming out of the country, it gives companies like ours the confidence to say we can kickstart this production and then reinvest and reinvest. In Hungary, we've invested $1 billion in changing the trajectory of Hungarian oil production. We were only able to do that not because we could write $1 billion check, we're a smaller company, but because we reinvest all the cash flow back into new production.
Good. Good.
Mark
Good
Nelson,
job.
Mark Nelson with Chevron
Sure.
again.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Claudio Descalzi, and ICO, Italy. We started working in Venezuela in 1980. We have a lot of oil, but now just the gas is flowing because it's not under sanction. And as my colleague from Repsol said, we cover more than about 50% of the electricity in the country. So that is essential to avoid any kind of problem, social problem. We own about 4 billion barrels of reserves, so a huge amount in the Orinoco Belt and in central Venezuela. We have now in the country 500 people, most Venezuelan, and we are ready to invest. Clearly, we are ready to invest. We thank you for the big efforts and the efficiency of your action, and we are here. And we are here to work together with the U.S. We are also a big investor in the U.S. So
I know that.
we thank you again, and we are there. And we are also ready to join with American companies in our assets to develop and go faster with good investors and good know-how from the U.S. company.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You've done a great job. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, Ross Perot, good to see you again. I'm chairman of Hillwood and HKN Energy. Been in the energy business 45 years, and we have been working with your team quite a bit. We have been in Kurdistan now for 19 years, along with Alex, and built a very good business. But now with your team, we're looking in Syria, we're now in Libya, and so we are very excited to look at Venezuela with you and your group, and look forward to continuing to build this great industry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for having us here today. Wael Salwan from Shell. Of course, we have a huge presence here in the U.S., in the Gulf, as well as in Pennsylvania with a petrochemical facility, which I think we had the opportunity to host you at, as well as being one of the largest LNG off-takers of American LNG. We have been in Venezuela for a very long time. We actually drilled in 1914 the first well that discovered oil in Venezuela, and on the back of which the entire energy industry was established in Venezuela. When we left in the 1970s because of nationalization, we had 1 million barrels per day of production. But we have kept boots on the ground in Venezuela all this time, and we now have a few $1 billion worth of opportunities to invest in, subject to OFAC approval. So we are ready to go and looking forward to the investments in support of the Venezuelan people.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ben Marshall, the America's CEO for Vitol. Alongside Trafigura, we're very thankful to have worked with the government and the Venezuelans to be able to bring the crude oil to market at a market price as quickly as we can to help stabilize the country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan Lance, ConocoPhillips. I'll defer to my colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. President. Olivier Lepoche, CEO of SLB, formerly known as Schlumberger, the largest global oilfield services. We have been in Venezuela since 1930, and we still operate. We operate today on the ground with, in support of Chevron. We have ability to scale. We have 1,100 Venezuelans in the company, 2,000 additional that are calling us to go back to country and to go back to work. We're able to mobilize in the last 18 months 2 rigs and deliver 50 wells with success. So we're here. We have knowledge of the subsurface like nobody else has. We have boots on the ground, capacity on the ground, $700 million of equipment value on the ground in Venezuela, ready to mobilize for all of our partners, customers. So we are ready to scale fast, and we really want to thank the administration, Secretary Wright, Secretary Bergen, for the effort they are supporting and giving us to be successful on behalf of the Venezuelan oil and gas industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, check this out. They say the very best for last. And I don't have that sexy accent like this guy next to me here. Mr. President, my name's Bill Armstrong of Armstrong Oil and Gas. I'm a private independent guy. And in real estate, you were a wildcatter. So wear that motto proudly. But like you, I was my own guy. I don't have shareholders. I don't have private equity partners, but I've been drilling all over the place. In fact, I had the largest discovery in Alaska, biggest discovery in 50 years in our country. I now control 8 million acres adjacent to Venezuela, so I'm already heavily invested in the area. We share a 150-mile border with Venezuela in the countries of Aruba and Curacao, and we are ready to go to Venezuela. It is, in real estate terms, it is prime real estate, and it's kind of like West Palm about 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Very ripe.
Yep, I agree with you. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I think what we're going to do is speak without the press to these gentlemen, see what kind of a deal we can make. We're going to get them involved. I'm going to ask Doug and Chris and some of the people that we have from the business standpoint representing our country to start talking about the confines of a deal. I have an idea what I want, what I think we should have. We have to get them to invest, and then we have to get their money back as quickly as we can, and then we can divvy it all up between Venezuela, the United States, and them. I think it's simple. I think the formula is simple. We start with a brand new plate, and it's going to be a tremendous success. I think it's going to be probably like few other things could ever be. You know, there's so much. Venezuela's been really taken advantage of by a lot of people because they drill very little. I mean, as much as you hear they drill very, very little, very small percentage. But now that'll change, and it'll change very rapidly because these are the biggest people, and it'll change very rapidly. So if you don't mind, I'll ask the press to leave, and we will see what kind of a deal we're going to make with these geniuses, and I think you're going to come out very good. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, guys, I do have to go to the doctors for none of your business, but I have to go to the doctors. We'll pick it up later today, this afternoon. I don't know what time. I don't know how long it's going to take. But we will pick it up later. I did want to talk about Greenland, and we're not done talking about fraud in Minnesota and, of course, ICE. So thank you guys for being here with me today. I appreciate you. Man, number one, I didn't know you guys already got me past 15,600 subscribers, man. That is crazy. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate you for that. So man, so good. You guys are awesome. Let me just say thank you so much again for likes, for subscribing, and for those of you who become members, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thanks for the supers, guys. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks for the high fives. The whole shebang here and there. Let's keep bringing some ice into the conversation, and I will show you a Crime Chef video later this afternoon. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful day. If I don't see you tonight, have a wonderful weekend. I wish you the best. If you're rich, I want you to be richer. If you're poor, I want you to come out of that. I declare prosperity in your life in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen? You believe that, take that. Work hard for it. God is by your side. Don't forget that. Trinity, thank you so much for your support. You know I love you all the time, sis. I love you all the time. All right, my friends, I will see you guys later, God willing. And if it's okay, I want to say hasta luego, amigos. Oh, welcome to the Members Club. Appreciate you, Democratic.